Chasin the Racin, powered by Colchester Kawasaki. Part of the Global Moto Group, we supply new Aprilia, Moto Guzzi, Vespa, Royal Enfield, Kawasaki, Sim, Mutt and Benelli motorcycles.
3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasin the Racin.
And this is actually...
Good evening, Dominic Overton. How are you?
I love this. He's already kind of introduced himself with his salted tones, and Josh is throwing the microphone all over the place. So I've
never met Josh properly before. Hi, Josh. How are you?
Hi, Alan. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted.
I love it. He's not the headmaster from year 9, do you know what I mean? I love this.
Met in passing.
Josh, ask him a question because he's not going to answer mine.
You have a nice one.
How did Yamaha, why did your journey with Yamaha start? Was it the best bike on the grid, or was it just a fancy? Was it just I thought?
We believed at the time, still believed to be the best bike on the grid.
You went from BMW, didn't you?
We were BMW prior to Yamaha, yeah, and prior to BMW we were Suzuki.
There we are.
And when did you get Yamahas? Was that 2021? Did you buy them? End of 21?
We bought... I did a deal with Steve Rogers, who Raceway Yamaha, Raceway's McCann's Yamaha. At the end of 21, yeah, I lose track of time all the time. The end of 21, we bought Jason O'Halloran's bike at the end of Brands. Yeah. It was wheeled down to my
I remember seeing that, they're getting it wheeled down.
Still warm from the race, blah, 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 blah. It was so that we could go and... I take my guys out to Cartagena at the end of the year, every year. We have a bit of a blowout. It would give us an early indication as to what the Yamaha was actually like, because we could ride it and see what it was like before then buying engine, chassis, and building our own bikes. And it did what we believed it would do. I mean, Brad Bray went out and took over a second off the lap record at Cartagena on his first morning.
Oh, God, I remember that. Yeah.
Most people are really nice, and they do a little thing where they go, "Oh, this is my lap record," and they write it an inch high on the side. And Brad sprayed it in, it was spray painted about 2 foot high on the wall at Cartagena.
He graffitied it halfway across southern Spain.
Is that record been broken since?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
So, after Cartagena,
yep,
full of confidence, ready to go.
Then obviously we, at the time, we would order through, and still do at the moment in time, we ordered through the Yamaha Sport team in BSB, which was Steve Rogers. So we would then, in fact, before Cartagena, we placed our order, because you sort of place your order sort of October time. As soon as people think that middle of October your last round is Brands Hatch, and then that's it, you're all going to have 6 months off and come back again. If we're lucky, you get a couple of days of we're not going to work because you got drunk at a party at the end of the season or something like that, and then you're ordering parts, and you've got all your parts. So all the orders went in long before we tested the bike. It was sort of December, I think, when we were out in Cartagena. So we were ordering then engine, chassis, swing, all and sundry.
So in a roundabout fit, just to round it off in monetary value, to change infrastructure. I love it. I'm going straight in.
He loves a money question.
I love a money question. No, but then people listen to this and just say, "We just change brands." It's not just changing brands. You're changing infrastructure. You're changing type.
The hard bit is that there's nothing that fits. That's number one.
Yeah. Wheels are probably the only interchangeable thing from Superbike.
From forks,
in the forks maybe.
But it's not just that. So obviously, you're not allowed to have a spare bike in Superbikes, pretty Superbikes at least. But you have enough parts to build a bike as a minimum. Because if you had a total destruction or something like that, then if we wrote a bike off completely today, I still want my guys riding tomorrow. Yeah. So you've got to be able to build a bike. So you've got at least another bike in parts, and then you have as far towards another bike again as your budget will allow.
Is there a budget restraint at BSB?
No. The budget restraint is that you can't have a spare bike. You can't wheel another bike out.
We could talk a lot about that rule actually, because I get it, but I actually borderline think that it's dangerous.
It can be.
I was about to say, as a team boss, do you agree with that rule?
I both do and don't at the same time. I can understand why it can be perceived as dangerous, because there's a perception there that the guys are going to rush to build a bike because you're in the middle of qualifying or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you've still got scrutineers in there, and you've got the technical guys there from BSB and from the circuit.
Yeah, that's true enough.
Making sure that you've done it right. And if they don't like it, you're not taking it out. So they're watching as you are rebuilding the bike after and off. They're stood in your garage watching there. The guys in blue overalls, and they'll be going, "What's that?" If they're not happy with anything, you won't shut them up. If they're happy with everything, you won't hear from them. They'll just wave out, sign it, but they have to sign it off before you can put it on the circuit. So I do agree and disagree at the same time. But at the end of the day, most people will have major sections of a bike built up. So
rolling chassis.
Yeah, and like
you can't have a rolling chassis, I don't think, but you'll have a complete fork assembly. You'll have a swing arm, rear shock and rear wheel ready to bolt in, and you'll have
sub assemblies, but you can't have a rolling chassis. You can't have like actually I might be wrong, but you can't have like a wiring loom and stuff all linked up. It's like a frame. You can have certain bits on it, but the rules are the rules. But
it's just one of those.
And
it's the same for everybody.
The top team, to be fair, actually, I kind of retract my statement a little bit because it actually doesn't really matter.
When you think, gentlemen, Josh is full of shit.
No, because it actually.
I should have brought a fucking fishing rod, not cake, shouldn't I?
Yeah, but when you've got to stand there and like build one, and I've never had it with the Superbike because I'm not as involved in that, but with the Supersport teams I've worked with in the past, like we've been in a scenario where it's like Saturday night and you're reframing a bike and you're building and you're like, you think, fuck, why couldn't we just have one in the thing? But the top teams and the top lads actually can build Superbikes in not ridiculous length of time because they come prepared, like with all the bits.
When we, in our earlier years, Josh Elliott completely totaled a Suzuki Dan Craner. It came back in 3 parts. The frame snapped completely through the frame, and then the forks were ripped off. So we got 3 big bits back. From what I remember, the only usable parts left on that bike were the dash and the rear spring.
Holy
But at the time, that took us then till sort of 2 o'clock in the morning for the guys to finish. So they started at 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and our day finished at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not technical, I don't build bikes, but I was sat in there with Mars bars and bottles of water and that and cups of coffee, just keeping the guys fed and watered. Wouldn't take us anywhere near that long now, but that's because we've got more spares.
Yeah, more sub-assemblies, more things ready, like,
you know, we could build a bike very, very quick, very, very quickly now.
And to be blunt, you know, to be British champions as you are, how much, like, oh God, but what is the figure of that? You know, people like, you know, unfortunately, I know it's crude and everything like that, but it's like a roundabout figure, but people need to know and people like to hear. The problem is, because I have so many different budgets in my head, and I'm not dodging your question, I'll get to it, but what I'm saying is that I have an overall budget in my head, but my overall budget then also encompasses things like, we've got, I have James Hillier on Stock 1000, so that's added into that budget, but then you're talking about Superbikes now, so I'm going to get that out. I've got, I've had a lad on Junior Superstock, Stock 6 to me, I'm old. I've had a new lad out on that today, very, very quick.
Yeah, we've all got a bet on him this weekend.
I'm winning. Yeah, and you will.
He is unbelievable.
Seriously quick.
Where's he come from then?
Casey O'Gorman.
17 thousandths of a second off pole. And he'd never seen Thruxton and never ridden a Yamaha.
Yeah. What's his background?
He was
He's in
16
Red Bull,
5 days ago.
Rookies.
Oh, Red Bull Rookie. All right, so he's not a mug that you've
Oh,
dragged
he's not
off
a
the
mug.
street.
Did
Oh my God!
Did he not win British Talent Cup? Yeah,
He won British Talent
last
Cup,
year,
yeah.
He won races in the European Talent Cup.
Right, so no problem.
He's a quick young boy, but he was 16 this week. So
Class.
he went out on track yesterday, and he was 16 and 4 days old. He's 16, so we'll be racing tomorrow at 16 and 6 days old. So, and I think he's going to win it.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
He was combined qualifying yesterday. Was P3. Never been here. Never been on a Yam.
yeah.
Very good.
Quick boy. But so I've got to take that budget out. We run a hospitality unit and things like that, so I have to take those budgets out. So it's not as easy for me to get into a raw figure for Superbikes.
Yeah.
And then different manufacturers will be different. I've now worked with 3 different manufacturers, and you have different price structures for what you think is the same thing. A Yamaha swing arm is about twice the price of a BMW swing arm, which is similar sort of price to a Suzuki swing arm. And this is, it may not be now, bearing in mind it's 2 years since I've been BMW and 4 years since I've been Suzuki, so they may have changed. The only sort of commonality, I guess, that you get between Superbike to Superbike are probably front forks, brake pads, brake calipers.
Yeah, calipers, forks, wheels.
I mean, what are we, $7 grand, $8 grand for calipers? Something like that, I suppose.
per set,
Yeah.
per bike.
Yeah. Then your spares. I mean, we do...
Now it's cheap. Now it's
No,
cheap.
but that's actually probably a better way of answering it, because people think, now to be blunt, you could round that all off in one finger.
How much does it cost to run a Superbike?
Yeah. And we were talking about the elements of trying to
Can we take a guess? Can we take an educated guess, and then you sort of confirm at the end? I think for 2 riders at the level you're doing it at, minimum budget would be 750,000 just to run the bikes.
Is that
just to
without
run
hospitality?
the Superbikes, without the hospitality, just the staff and run the garage for them 2 Superbikes. I'm going to say 750.
Over 12 rounds with a transportation,
11.
everything like that.
You'd think you'd know what fucking championship it is. 11 rounds we have, mate. But go on,
He went to Navarra. That's what I'm telling you. I'd test it all. Are we including testing in this? This is quite a fun game.
Yeah,
this,
like
actually.
a season to run, a season to...
Well, how many tests? You have to do 1 official test, is that correct?
Doesn't matter. That's kind of irrelevant. To do,
Don't take the fun out
to
of this,
run
Josh.
the season. I'm going to
It's got to
say
be a
minimum
It's
750.
got to be a
I'll tell you,
minimum.
I would say that to run... Okay, I'm going to break it down more than that, and then you can add to it what you need to, and it's team by team how that works. I would say that, and I'm not saying these are necessarily my figures, but I've run 3 manufacturers now, so
you got a good idea.
I can average quite readily across those for you. We all know that the Ducati's more money than anything else,
Yeah.
so we know that one takes the averages out the other way. And anybody that's running a 2020 bike or anything like that takes the averages back the other way again. I would say that, and this is before staff at the moment, this is my point. So I would say you're probably 300-ish grand per Superbike as for your base bike and your spares packages that you're going to need to run that bike for the year. And hopefully that your crash damage is encompassed by that.
Yeah.
If you've got bad crashes, then that can go up a lot. And if haven't got crashes at all, you've got extra spares or better spares to go to the following year. It's going to cost you 300 grand a bike. And then it depends how you staff. So all my staff are paid. Every single member of OMG staff is paid. And then, which I know where some teams, it depends where they are in the paddock and who they are within that team as to whether they're paid. If you've got, there'll be teams in the paddock where the guy that owns the team, his son is working for the team, he's not being paid.
Yeah.
But he's doing a job that if you didn't have him not being paid, you'd have to pay somebody. So
of course, yeah.
So that's what I mean by your staffing levels and costs can be very wildly team by team.
Yes.
And if you were doing it as I'm just starting out now, I'm going in blunt as a one-man. Okay, well, let's take, and I don't know their figures, and I'm not going to, even if I did know their figures, I wouldn't say. But so you look at Danny Kent's team now. That's a brand new team from scratch. You've got Alan Lovells who's come in and he's doing a fantastic job. They look good, they're performing well. But I know Alan's not paying himself.
Yeah.
I know Alan's daughter's involved in the team. I know he's not paying her, or I'd be amazed if I don't know for certain, but I know for certain Alan won't be paying himself because that's not what you do. I don't pay me. I'm the only unpaid member of the team. I know his daughter's involved in the team, and I would guess that she's not paid for this role.
Yeah.
She works within the business and she earns her living there, but for this role she won't be
directly
paid as a general thing.
Yeah, of course.
And the same as if you look through anything else in the paddock, you'll have father and son teams and mum and sister come and mum and brother come and whatever it is, and they're doing all the graft and grunt and they're going off running off having tyres fitted and blah, blah, and none of them are paid.
Yeah.
So, and if you then progress that from that up to Superbike, it probably stays the same. So some teams where there's hardly any people are paid. Some people they could be the best crew chief in the world, but you know what? He loves little Johnny and he's working with little Johnny and not being paid. You know?
Yes.
So that's a very, and that is team by team. So you're going to get that. And then you've got different levels of how many people you have work with each rider. So my riders have a tyre guy, a crew chief, 2 mechanics per rider.
Yeah.
Now, some teams will have crew chief will be mechanic, and that's it. You'll have so again. You
I think what you've just said is actually the bare minimum of what you can do for a proper Superbike.
Yeah.
per Superbike. That's kind of it's what we have. Yeah.
Wasn't that a fucking question I was answering, for fuck's sake?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think
I was trying to help.
Yeah, but some people don't, like you said, but it's. I don't know if people understand the level of work involved. Like, it's not possible.
The problem that I have, you see, is if I were to actually give you my budget, then there's a possibility somebody could start picking it apart and work out how much
people get paid. Yeah, of course,
and that's their business. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. In the same way, I don't want to know how much you earn. Nobody needs to know how much Simon earns. Nobody, because that's private. The only person that needs to know that is the partner you live with and the taxman. Not
Damn
always.
Taxman.
You probably like to both.
Yeah, I think it's kind of
That legal loophole, probably. I love it.
Yeah.
And I said you. I didn't say I did.
Yeah, a good man. But I know what you mean though. When you think like you're like comparing the size of Alan's British Superbike team to. Dude, like, forgive me when I say this, but like the Martrain, they've stepped up into Superbike. The team is smaller, but is incredibly effective.
But the bike itself will cost the same as ours. The bike is essentially the same
bike. Yeah.
The differences between it. Okay, we're different suspension to you at the moment. We might be different brake pads.
Brembo, where's Brembo?
Your SBS.
Yeah. We may have. Different rear sets, things like that.
Yeah,
crash damage things, and these sort of things. But for the great, and then our differences come in how we're set up and how we're doing our maps. And that's where performance, whether they beat us or we beat them, that's the performance difference between us, because we are basically like for like. So roughly to put the bike out with a reasonable spares package that you hope not to crash more than that, I would say 300 grand a bike. Plus your staff. Plus then you've then got, in addition to that, you've got how do you get here and how do you look after yourself when you're here.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of people in my team. We've got, I think, round figures 30 people work on the rear racing side, not hospitality side. So
plus you've got people won't realise how much of an effort it is for you guys to run James Hillier, because he's not that much of a nightmare. James, we love you. Josh, I know Josh doesn't like you. I know what he's saying. He thinks you're an arse. And there's just no need for that, Josh. I know you were doing it off camera. You weren't doing it on the mic, and I'm just going to have to out you now. James, you're lovely. Not James as a person, but running a super stock bike, I think a lot of people generally would look at that and go, oh well, it's just the standard version of a super bike.
No,
nothing is relevant. Nothing for that super bike other than maybe the fairing's not even the same, is it?
No.
So the frame, no, it's not the same. You can't use it.
From our point of view, because James goes out at different times for Superbikes, I don't need to have a dedicated tyre guy for James, because one of the guys, or other of the guys will do his tyres. But he does have dedicated mechanics. He does have a dedicated crew chief that only work with him.
All the spares and all the stuff's different. Like it's just huge. I think people forget
and then the same again with we run a 600 as well. It's the same with there again. Again, that has dedicated mechanics. Crew chief is not quite
of course.
In the same sort of level there. But it's still, there's nobody from Superbike touches a 600.
No.
If they have a problem, they do. I mean, we've had it in the past where whoever's been riding my 600 has crashed, and they end up with, Brad Rice crew chief doing this and Kyle
getting
Rice
the guys going,
because it's got to be rebuilt and get out. Everybody does it,
Pitches in.
If you can work on a Superbike, trust me, you can work on a 600. It's the other way around, possibly not. But every bike has got its dedicated staff to whatever level. So, and then you've got to house these people, you've got to feed these people, you've got to make sure that you've got to get here.
Yeah.
You've got trucks, you've got tractor units, you've got operators licenses for those, you've got vans, you've got,
So, stepping into the 2024 season, this is my main question, being Yamaha, being the official Yamaha team, will that make your life as Alan Gardner and OMG Racing easier or is it a different responsibility role that is just going to be added pressure?
Until it actually happens,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't know for certain. The biggest thing for us with it, there are two things, and I'll do it from anybody that's actually involved in the sport or is looking to be involved in the sport. I'll try and be as honest as I can.
Yeah.
So there's a massive amount of kudos in that the manufacturer is supporting you.
Yeah.
It means that to the manufacturer in that championship, they're seeing you as the top tier, and that's it. So that gives me an enormous immense sense of pride in what my guys have done, because it's my guys, the work that they do, that has enabled us. That Yamaha go, you know what, they're all right. Well, we want to deal with them. We want to do with them. They do it right. So that's just on the how you feel. That's a nice thing. Okay. Following on from that, we're involved in a sport that is dominated by sponsorship. It doesn't run without sponsorship unless, you can win the lottery if you want, but you run out of fucking money really, really quickly. It won't take many years, So you run on sponsorship, and when you can speak to a sponsor and say, we are the official supportive team of the manufacturer, they'll listen to you more than you go, we really enjoy doing this. Okay. Yeah. But that's all we all do. We really enjoy doing this, so it helps there. Go on. You keep trying to butt in. You ask me a fucking question.
No, I'm not. I'm letting you finish. I'm picturing an image. This is what I do. It's my Twitch. This is. I've got loads of questions while you're answering a question. You might No, it's just. At what point did racing? Because you race bikes yourself. You've you ride bikes and everything like that.
I didn't race. I was nowhere near quick enough. I love bikes. I have no fear of speed, which is potentially really, really dangerous. But I'm not any good. I have a wobble round. So I'm not the worst in the world, but I couldn't cut it in this paddock. I wish I could.
But when did it become essentially a business? When did it become an idea of going, you know what? I want to start a race team. I want to be.
We've done this conversation before.
I know, but it's good to go
back to episode.
We don't even remember the number, Alan. Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe episode.
But get to this point now.
Okay. I'm going to just adjust myself here because you're in this fucking trailer that's on the piss. It's leaning down. I'm sort of rolling off the seat.
We're not in your bouncy castle now.
No. So, to tell you again, fucking I'm going to bore you with this now. Treat.
I'm enjoying this. Roll with the punches.
I was with a couple of friends of mine. We used to sponsor people, riders, whether it be not for a lot of money, not huge, but a tyre bill here or a fuel bill there, blah blah. Because we like bikes and we like racing.
There you are. So this is still fun for you at this point. Yeah.
I'd been too busy with work in 2017, and I'd sponsored people in Stock 6 as was then. And I hadn't managed to get to a round. I'd been too busy, I hadn't had time, blah blah blah. And it was Brands Hatch, and you're like, if I don't go now, I mean, it's not that you're giving people the money to help them race for anything, but I want to go and see them race. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So and it's like I've got to go this weekend. I've missed the whole year. I can't miss any more because that's it. This is the last round of the season. So we'd gone down. I think we'd got fairly drunk. You start having drunken conversations, and but we love the paddock, like where we're sat now. Here, we're surrounded by Junior Super Stock and Junior Super Sport and the F900 BMWs, and it's sort of a really relaxed, nice sort of environment. People are having barbecues, you've got a spare sausage, blah, blah, blah. Can you lend me a sprocket? Can you do this? Can you do that? And everybody will help everybody. There's rivalry, of course, you're racing. But if you need a part, you need a part, and they'll lend it you, and it's nice. And our perception then, rightly or wrongly, and I'll get to that in a minute if you want me to, but rightly or wrongly, but that we would look over and we could see, we couldn't get into the middle of Brands Hatch. I hadn't got a pass for that. I sponsored somebody in Stock 6. You can't get in there. You don't get gold passes. You don't get, But so you'd look at it over there in the distance where all the Superbikes were, and it looked it was Formula One to us. It was MotoGP to us. You know what I mean? It was like that. Those were intense. And awnings and they've got garages and trucks and and you'd look at that and you think it was unattainable. But we thought that the three of us all ran businesses and all ran reasonably to quite well successful businesses. So we were okay, but we knew what we were doing on the commercial side. Put it that way. But I think I opened my... Well, I know I opened my mouth, so sorry, guys. Because anyway, I opened my mouth. I said, we can do it. We can do it better than them. You know, pointed across the Superbikes because I was drunk. Okay. And the following morning. But this is what men do when you're talking. We chat bollocks, don't we?
Yeah.
You keep looking at me when you're saying about chatting bollocks here, Alan. You're stressing us out.
Because he knows you're from Shield.
I was looking at the pair of you because I was talking about bollocks. So
Plural.
there's an S on the end of bollocks. But it's what men do. You know, we do that and we do that. You know, it goes down to the line of I'm going to buy an island. It's a drunken conversation.
Have you bought an island?
I haven't bought an island. I haven't bought an island
Yet.
But it's one of those. It's a sort of drunken things that men talk about. We talk about things that you're never going to do.
Yeah.
That's what you do when you're drunk, isn't it? You know, and you haven't had dinner. And so the following morning, it's never meant to get brought up. Whatever you were talking about last night drunk, normally you were not going to remember it.
You're hoping.
And even if you do remember it, you never bring it up again. But then we carried on talking about it because we all like bikes, we all like racing. It was like we could actually do that. And what's the first question is, why can't we?
Yeah.
Because we've never done it before. We've never owned a race team. We've never run a race team. None of us have competed. How do you do this? What do you do? And so one of my I said there were three of us as friends, and the three that ultimately started OMG. One of the guys had been Paul Curran's sponsor when Paul was racing. Paul also looked after his bike for track days, quick track day rider. Sorry, Greg, not quick enough for the back. No, cut that out. I'm only joking. No, way quicker than me. Quick rider with a bike that was built by Paul Curran. So it was a fucking good bike, you know. So the natural one was then we've now decided there's something serious going on, and we're talking for days and days and days and weeks. And, so okay, what do we do? So then we talked to Paul because Paul's been in the paddock since he was a kid. Cars and bikes, karting and cars and bikes. So he understands the paddock and we don't know how much it costs. We ain't got a fucking clue. You've just been asking me those questions. I can answer them now.
Because you've done it.
Yeah, because you've been there, yeah.
Time I couldn't answer them. We don't know how much it costs. We don't know how to do this. We don't know how to do that. How do you enter British Superbikes? I haven't got a clue. I still don't know. I've got a Holly. She's great.
I'm terrified of Holly.
Fantastic.
She is fantastic, but I'm terrified of Holly.
She is utterly terrifying.
She's utterly terrifying in the most respectful way. Blonde.
You know that's just been recorded for you as well.
I've told her to her face.
I've told her to her face. I think every person it's a respectful, fearful thing.
You need to tell her. She can see it in your eyes.
She can sense it. You know what I mean? Like a lioness lying on a hill going, you're getting it.
For fairness and balance here, I think I need to say for the mic that Holly Burrows is a fantastic, wonderful person.
We are not disagreeing with that at all, but we are terrified of her in a respectful way. She walks around in like big black glasses, and it's just like the tilt like that going, get out, I'm gone home.
Can I tell you a really funny?
I'm away.
Tell you a really funny story. Why I agree she's terrifying. Lovely, but terrifying, right?
Because you've met her.
No, because
like everything terrifying.
She's gonna kill me after this.
She's gonna kill it, right? She's blonde, she's beautiful, and she's deadly. Right? That's Holly Burrows lined up. 100%. Go for it.
In 2014 in Assen, I had a coming together with Paul Curran in the Supersport race, and he went down. And at the time, I was a bit didn't really think I'd done nothing wrong, and on reflection, I thought I was a bit naughty. Better go and apologise. And obviously, the first person that I met was Holly. I didn't know her, and I just felt like so shit. And to be fair, Paul was like, "Yeah, fine." Like he was all right about it, but She was so mad, and I felt so awful. I was so scared of it. I was like, I'll come back later when he's back. And then as I turned around, he was walking back into the garage. I was like, oh my God.
I bet she was really nice until then, and that's what made her terrifying.
Oh, possibly, yeah, but I was so scared of her. Anyway, so I've been on the receiving end of that wrath.
And the best thing is, probably none of us have. So I don't know how you're still breathing, to be honest. There you go.
The point I was trying to get to, though, is Holly's not scary. She's lovely, right? But she does
The silence on the other side of the studio, right?
She does.
lovely.
She
does
everything she does.
Oh yeah, I wasn't slagging anyone there, by the way. I'm just saying.
The fear's coming out. No, but the thing,
You
like,
take this sign. Just so I can get it.
oh, this is recorded. Don't worry, nothing gets. This is raw podcasting. But like you, first time I met you, it was like, this is Holly. It was just like, you are so. I don't know how to word this. It's like, the pride of like Holly. Speak to Holly.
It wouldn't work. And I tell her, and I don't think she believes it when I say it, but I don't know what I'm doing. And so on the technical side, Paul does all the technical side. Okay? Paul runs PCR, and there's another plug, PCR Performance in Cannock, Longford Road, Prospect Business Park, Longford Road, PCR Performance in Cannock. I believe it's at least in the top 3 largest performance centres for track and race bikes in the country.
Yeah.
So he does the technical side for anything and everything to do with OMG. And his partner, who is Holly Burrows, does all the stuff that we as men involved in the sport and in the paddock don't have a fucking clue even needs doing. Because we don't. We turn up and there's food. But we haven't bought it. We turn up and your entry's in. We turn up and your passes are there. We turn up and you got a vehicle pass. We turn up and you got a living pass. We turn up and all the other stuff.
She's done it.
Right? And we don't know. We just go, okay, see you lads at the end of the weekend.
And the best thing
she
about
does all of that.
And you were just talking about the logistic element. That's 30 on mechanic side. So Holly does all of that. So I was incredibly lucky that you took me to Navarra. You had a space in the back of the wagon, and I could not believe within
young Dominic Herbertson.
Today made my first Spanish meeting, but like within seconds, like you said, right, I'll have a chat with Holly, and it was just everything
done.
Emailed, like, and it was like, this is your schedule, you have to be here at this time. It was like, this is phenomenal. It was like a military exercise. She is unbelievable.
We get every member of the team in a few days before every round. We'll get a 15-20 page email come through, which will be our final instructions for this round. It's normally started off with, here is everything you need to know. If you need to ask a question, you haven't read this, because here is everything you need to know. Okay? And it will detail
Painfully true.
where the motorhomes are, if you're in a motorhome, where the hotels are, if you're in a hotel, how you get there, when you've got to be there, what time breakfast is, what time you've got to be there for that, what time that, there's a technical briefing that you've got to go to, there's this, that, and that. Kyle, you've got to go and do a signing there. Ryan, you've got to go and do a talk show there. Well, what you name it, it's in there.
So it's Holly like the team manager then?
Team operations manager. She gave herself the title. She's the Tom.
I tell you
The
what,
Tom. I like that. That's
I'm not calling it Tom. Anyway,
You know that this episode's going to be entitled something to do with Holly
Tom.
Burrows now, isn't it? Holly Burrows.
The Tom.
And on top of that, and I'm going to give her
And she's
even
a mum.
more credit now, on top of that, as I was about to get to, her daughter was 1 a week ago. So Holly being Holly and how dedicated she is towards racing, timed her pregnancy.
For the end of the season.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Paul was under
No.
pressure. Look, he could drive laps, son, but hey,
You know? But
you've got
the
one
aim
shot
was,
in
it's
this
like,
window.
I can't be blah blah blah, and as it actually worked out, Avery, her daughter, was a little bit earlier and things had happened a little bit earlier than they had planned. But the plan had been that she was going to give birth in November. That was the way they were
set
working
up,
it.
yeah.
So that I can give birth, blah blah blah. I can do pregnant all the way through BSB. I can give birth and do a few months, and then I can bring my child racing.
This is how
So this is
organised
how-
Holly Burrows
yeah.
is.
The best
Class
example
up.
is at the TT,
August.
she was ill, Avery wasn't very well, was she? And everything was still like clockwork.
Perfect.
So I think it's fair to say that no Holly Burrows, no OMG Racing period. That'll be
Correct.
the demise, the collapse of Yamaha Racing.
I mean, well,
Yeah.
probably, yeah. I mean, it's and Paul will listen to this, and I mean, there's an argument that if Paul were to leave OMG, I could I could employ another team principal who I don't believe would be as good as Paul. I believe Paul to be the best in the paddock, and that's why we've got Paul. That's why Paul is OMG through and through, I believe, as well. But if it came to it and he disappeared for whatever reason, I could replace Paul. Wouldn't be as good. We wouldn't.
You don't
perform
want
as
to,
well.
but yeah.
No, I don't want to. But I'm just saying,
You can swap out the technical.
we would
element
still
of
be
it,
able to
can't you?
run.
Yeah.
If Holly disappeared, we'd be fucked. Because nobody else knows how to do anything.
I hope them two are watching this
'Cause
on
we don't.
YouTube, right? Like on the sofa, like now.
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
sure
look
she
down
does.
the lens and just like I can
she
just
does,
see
you
the
You know what
nudge.
happened? Paul will look like that and she'd just be grinning.
Yeah, but the other side is, I'll be now begging Holly, please, can you just leave? Can you just do? Because then I can quit.
That's a lot of power. That is a big power play. I love it.
How many of, or do you have any guys that are full time other than
Yep.
Paul and Holly?
Full time, Simon.
Sorry about
I have another Simon that's full time. John Boy.
Who's your
Daz,
favourite Simon?
Little Simon. John Boy.
And that
John
is
Boy.
reasonable.
Daz. Will. Neil's going full time now. There's 6 or 7 that are full time, 365 days of the year.
Yeah. Building bikes in the workshop
yeah.
and getting stuff ready. So
Yeah.
yeah, get you.
And then others, as the same with them. So again, for people that don't know, others are brought in on race weekends. So you may have somebody that works in a motorcycle development scenario for a manufacturer, and they come and work with the team on the weekend. They get paid for that. You may have somebody that is. I'm trying to think of some examples now that without actually saying. Okay, so Tommy Hill is a member of OMG. He works with, but obviously Tommy Hill's got his own
business.
and supplies a lot of the people in the paddock with their graphics and design work.
Yeah.
Tommy Hill Promotions, a little plug.
That's what the episode's going to be called, The Plug.
The plug.
Yeah.
As long as it's not the
be
butt plug,
fair,
we'll be all right with me.
A lot of people.
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that in a bit.
A lot of people probably don't know that a lot of the teams in the paddock and in World Superbikes as well, a lot of the teams are made up of essentially self-employed people who aren't based in a workshop but come
Well, lots of them
for the weekends.
Lots of them are as well. Lots of them will be self-employed, and they'll be building people's track bikes and things like that, or doing track bike setups, and they'll be doing suspension guys, or they'll be and if they've got a specialist in their day-to-day work, you may have an Olins or a Batubu or a K-Tech specialist in his business, and then that's who we want, because they're the best. 'Cause all I do is suspensions. That's who we want, Whereas we have Casey Stone as our crew chief as our suspension guy. But there you go.
Yeah, I tell you what,
Because we want the best.
like, was that the inspired move to Batubo? And was that at the beginning of the season? It was, wasn't it? You stepped at Navarra, you were running Batubo.
Yeah.
And that
We
sort of
were
from
testing.
ground zero.
We were testing to see. We tried both, and for us, we saw a performance advantage for us. The way we set up a bike and the way our riders need a bike set up for them, that it suited better. So that's where we went.
Kyle did some stupidly fast laps on it, I remember, in
Big boy, wasn't
Spain.
he?
Yeah.
Oh, Navarra. Now,
Insane.
It was
in
ridiculous.
now, when it went to Navarra, he was the only. Was that right in saying he was the only competitor that's already been in Navarra with World Supersport?
When he was 12.
no, what?
Did he do a World Supersport round there? Did he?
I
didn't know that.
Hold on. Kyle Ryder, 12-year-old, will probably just be as quick. Now, don't be giving me that shite, but you've already been there, if you know what I
Quicker
mean.
than me, that's for sure.
Wait, there you go. No, but that was the argument of it. But like you say, Josh, he went there and he broke. No, hold on. He was Alan. You'll know all the digits, but it was like he was fractional off the World Superbike outright. That record.
Yeah,
He was doing World Superbike pace, like he was doing mad laps there. It was
He was
impressive.
consistently within, I think, 3 or 4 tenths of the World Superbike lap record.
Yeah, lap
3 or
after
4
lap after
tenths.
lap after lap. Can't wait to go the next year.
And that wasn't
Can
on
we
like a
announce?
zero.
Can we announce? No, what?
I don't think it's official at the moment.
Right.
That's my caveat on that. I don't
There
think
you
it's
are.
official at the minute.
Well, dive around that.
Let's, if we go, okay, let's go. It's commercial. Everything's commercial. If we don't have people help us financially, the same as every other team, then we can't run. The same as the championship is a commercial. It's a business. It's an entertainment business, and hopefully people are entertained by it and love watching it. And the owners of the championship have bought a circuit in Spain with all due respect, what the fuck are they going to do with it if we ain't going to race there?
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
We're going to go there. Whether that's tomorrow.
Is that the music
First
from the
round
bar,
next
is it?
year.
I think that's
Last
the bar
round next
kicking
year.
off, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have we been waffling that long already? My
No,
God,
no.
it's more than an hour already.
Wait, no, you're loving it, man. You're loving it. So like, I think God.
So I think it would be absolutely common sense and would be commercial suicide if they didn't go to Navarra. So therefore we're going to Navarra. It's a commercial
Yeah.
decision. Yeah.
It would be great if they did. I
It's
think
going
it
to
would,
replace Assen, obviously. We
Yeah.
always used to do a foreign round. That only stopped.
do you not think it would be great to do it at the start of the year, a bit like what World Superbikes used to do with Australia? So they go test there and then like race the week after because everyone's all
It
there
would be the sensible thing because that would put less financial constraint on all the people.
and getting everybody there and
Because you
whatnot.
don't want to go there twice and pay
Yeah.
twice to go there. So it would make perfect sense.
The circuit's unbelievable as well. Like not
Great.
Yeah, like the facility. It was just like World Championship level circuit, just amazing. Yeah, very good.
And it would make sense to go at the beginning of the year, wouldn't it, rather than the latter?
That's what we're saying because you'd have been if
For
you go and test
temperature
there.
wise as well. But what you don't want to be doing is, we're all pasty white people over here, aren't we? Really,
Go in the middle of summer, we'll all melt. Yeah.
You'll be close to death. It'd be too hot for us. I was in Spain 2 weeks ago. It was 39 degrees. You're hiding underneath the parasol. Sort of thing. It's like you don't want to do that. So it would make it will make commercial sense for the championship. Most of, if not all of, what would the top half of the Superbike paddock, if not all of them, and then plus Superbike, and then plus Stock 1000, and plus Stock 600, go testing in Spain anyway because they've got the weather early in the year that suits. Early in the year in Spain is equivalent to our race season weather. 18 to 25 degrees, it's nice, it's dry. So it would make sense. And we all do it anyway, so it would actually help us because if we're all going to
It
go
would,
to
it
Spain
would restrict
anyway.
it all down. It would actually make a very sensible option.
Because they did have a testing ban at one point. Was it a couple of years? Well, obviously, COVID knocked everything, period. But even with that, there was a ban.
We always have a testing ban, don't we? We have a number of days that we're allowed to test.
Yeah, there's
Right.
only- how many? Is it 12 days?
I think it's 12 days, but then you have to take out of those 12 days the official
official
test that they
tests.
put on anyway.
So outside the official test, you can do 12 days on your Superbike that you race. It doesn't stop you riding a glorified road bike, which people do.
I was about to say a lot of teams get on stop bike. Like Kyle was doing a little bit of that, wasn't he?
He
This
does
year?
go on a stop bike. It's the main thing for that is just bike fitness.
Yeah.
Bike
Yes.
fitness and bike time and mental fitness in that you're used to, your eyes are used to coming into a corner at 160 miles an hour. If it's for that, it doesn't matter what bike you're on then, because your brain's up to speed. That's the first thing you've got to do. A stock bike will never be quite the same as a superbike, which is why it's very difficult, or so few successfully transition from stock to superbike.
Yeah. But so many people now do so much riding. So if you look back 10 years ago, whatever, a lot, like this sport's unique in the sense that if you play football or you play golf, whatever, like you can go and do that on a Wednesday night or whatever. In motocross to a degree, like you can ride motocross pretty much
midweek
every
and everything,
weekend,
yeah.
right?
But again, motocross is great for the
Which is
the
good,
core
yeah,
strength and the
yeah,
bike-
absolutely.
Bike fitness, as we call it.
But to practice this discipline, like
It's
you were
really
saying.
difficult, but it's moved on a lot
You
now.
can't really.
But you can't, can you?
can't
Unless you
practice
go and
superbike.
no, you can't.
What you're doing, they're getting their bike fitness. They're getting used to
Brain up to speed.
I mean, the actual physical setup, as in their positioning on the bike, will be identical. Your handlebars will be the same, your rear sets will be the same, that sort of, your tank will be the same. So they'll be as comfortable on that bike, but it won't perform in the same way
No.
or anything like.
It could actually hinder you
It
to a
can.
degree, because if you go and ride a stock 1000, if you went and rode a stock, James's stock bike, for example, for a week in Cartagena or wherever, and then brought the Superbike and had to get on it the next day, it would feel fucking awful.
Yeah.
Because they're hard to ride. Like people, there's a good point. Like look at the lap times this weekend and how close the super stock lap times have been to Superbike, and you sort of say to yourself, well, do you really need all of the extra stuff? And then you look and you see what like Jason or Kyle or whoever, Jack and all those lads do on the Superbike, and you just think, fuck me, they're
But
like
it's not just that,
legends
I mean,
for being able to do that on
You can remember that
them
obviously
bikes.
the Superbike, there are no rider aids, so you haven't got launch control, you haven't got traction control, you haven't got ABS brakes, you haven't got all these things that you do get on a stock bike, So if you take those off your stock bike, is it going to be that as quick? Because I'm safer on a stock bike than on a superbike because I'm not good enough for a
For a
superbike.
Superbike, like
When your traction control is your right hand, You know, I'm not good enough to catch it, but you know what? These electronics that these modern bikes have, they're good enough to help me out, and they won't spit me off.
Yeah.
Right, so that I could get a much better lap time in, personally. As most people, no matter who they are, will get a better time on a stock bike compared to a superbike. Superbike riders get a better time on a superbike.
Yeah, because they know.
Because it's a different beast.
Do you know how? So this weekend, like, I can't remember who it was now, but like we went for a track walk, and Jack was just explaining how much of a savage place this is on a superbike, and it wasn't Jack's day, it was somebody else's, but in 6th gear at the end of that back straight before they were getting to brake, they had 40 kilometers an hour more rear wheel speed, so it's spinning in 6th gear flat out and going sideways and wheeling, and now you need to think about braking, and really it's trying to send
Carl came down past the pits today.
Unbelievable.
With his rear spinning the entire length of the pits.
It's just like when you
But a
hear it
stock
like
bike
that,
won't do that, because your traction controls helped you out.
Which is
If he did it to me, I'd have been saying hello to the crowd very, very quickly, because I'd have been over the fence. And that's the same for most people.
yeah.
You know, it's great watching these things on TV, and people watch on TV and they go, it's a piece of it. It's not.
Yeah. Even riding a superbike, basically the bits the lads are talking about, or even riding a superbike in a straight line is complex.
yeah.
Like it's not simple. Like it's
No.
there's things to it.
It will spit you off if you do something silly in a straight line.
Yeah.
Because it will.
I tell you what, I want to talk about Ryan Vickers briefly. He went from CB 500s. Okay, I bet you like it, right? That lad is flying. But like,
boy.
Young
he
blonde hair, blonde blowing blue eye. Oh, I can't even speak. For fuck's sake. Never mind. Carry on.
But he went from CBs straight into stock 600. Is that right?
And won that.
He won
in
that.
impressive style.
So-
So let me just say, for the people listening that haven't followed him that far back, so Ryan went to stock 6, and his main rival in stock 6 was somebody you may have heard of, which is Rory Skinner. He's quite a quick boy.
Yeah.
And Ryan won every race that year but 2 and beat Rory by 100 points. So the boy's quick. The boy can ride.
That puts it in comparison, doesn't it? So then we go from there, and he stepped straight into Lee Hardy.
Superbike
That's
team,
correct,
yeah.
on the Kawasaki, and then
Was that 19 or 20? 20, I think.
This is his 5th year on Superbike, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Someone said that the other day. I couldn't believe it. Actually,
I
I
know.
just
did
I
he
saw it, got a shock.
do? Did he do 2 or 3 with Lee and 1 or 2 with FHO? I can't.
he did a couple
Yeah,
of
must
he
have.
did.
Yeah, must have done 2 or 3 seasons with Lee. And,
With Lee, yeah, and then, so because I remember, but for me, when Ryan Vickers truly stood out was obviously when he brought the outright lap record
the Cadwell.
at Cadwell.
Then crashed.
But I'm sorry, but that was the part and parcel of that story, wasn't it? You know what I mean? If you just brought, unfortunately, if you just brought the lap record, that's good. But then the fact that the crash followed after was like,
Well, look,
he's pushing.
okay,
you know what I mean?
so
It's-
there are, and I'm going to give you the answer I give to anybody and everybody that will ever listen to me, which isn't many people at all. But
yeah, we reach 180,000 people.
yeah, but it doesn't mean they listen to me. Anyway,
Well,
you see, I'm old, so I go back to, as most people probably listen to. I mean, I was a huge Rossi fan. So Rossi, at the time, best rider the world has ever known. Put him on a Ducati, he couldn't fucking ride it. Now, you can be the best rider in the world and on a really good fucking bike, and it don't work because it doesn't fit.
You guys have obviously done some, and to be fair, lots of people were critical, but me included. To be honest, like we had an episode at the start of the year and we talked about it, and it was a bit of a dry your teeth kind of moment when he signed for you. We were a bit like,
What are they doing?
not
here's
what are
the
they
thing,
doing,
no,
but
no,
it was
no,
a question mark. Like,
Well, no, we had people asking us, what the fuck are you doing? You know. Now, obviously, there was no doubt to us that we wouldn't have him on. This fucking thing's on the piss. There was no doubt for us that we wouldn't be putting him on one of our bikes. We've just gone through this now. When you add all the numbers up, it's probably for us round figures £500,000 to put somebody on a Superbike.
yeah,
We're not going to put a Muppet on. We're not going to put anybody on that we don't believe, because it's a lot of money. There are things, you're Martrain Yamaha, so you'll get this probably more than Dom, but a lot of people listening will get this. In that there are certain characteristics in certain manufacturers of bikes, you know, and we all know it. I mean, it always used to be Suzuki, Silverstone was a Suzuki track. you know, and Thruxton, where we are now, is a Yamaha track, and so is a so-and-so track, and so is blah, 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 blah. But they don't say it's a Superbike, Yamaha Superbike track. They say it's a Yamaha track because Yamaha have sort of the sort of a DNA through the chassis of the bike. And we've just said now that Ryan on an R6 battered the hell, and I'm sorry, Rory, but he did. He won all but 2 races that year.
Yeah.
It's just a big R6.
Yeah.
Well,
It's very simple, that. And it's not. I don't mean it in a disparaging way at all.
Oh no, but
it is. The DNA is going through.
Yeah, I know what you're
From an
saying.
R6
Like,
to an R1.
I know what you're
So
saying.
it
Yeah.
should fit it.
There's obviously a lot more. As you said, there's like a lot more to that. But I think the thing that's been impressive with Ryan, just being to brutally honest, is he's had consistently been quick at every track.
Yep.
In every session.
Yep.
And he hasn't been thrown at the scenery.
Well, you see, this is where I was getting to.
Which he got a reputation
Yeah,
for
but,
doing.
yeah, but okay. I don't want to name names on here now, but there are people that we all know that crash way more.
Yeah.
Way more than Ryan.
Yeah.
Cause way more damage than Ryan ever has. But because they've got a good record, because they had wins at the time, or they had podiums at the time, people forget the crashes. Now, unfortunately for Ryan, when he was on, and it's not disparaging, I say, Rossi can't ride a Ducati, or couldn't at the time, right? So Ryan shouldn't be on a Kawasaki, and Ryan shouldn't be on a BMW. He's more than capable of riding quick. He's a fucking quick bike, and they're fucking good bikes. I'm not slagging anybody.
No.
Doesn't mean they fit.
no, you're
Doesn't
100%
mean they
right.
fit.
But when you look at the history of the Yamaha, Bradley Ray, and Jack Kennedy is a perfect example of this.
Yeah.
When he was on the Kawasaki, and we're not yet again, we're circling this off, and we're not naming
But he did
brands,
have the odd
but-
good result.
Oh no,
In the same way Ryan did. Ryan,
That's
you know.
yes.
But that's because they're a good rider.
Yeah.
That's the point.
They're good bikes, they're good riders, but I agree with Alan on the fit element. But when you think Jack Kennedy, 4th at Silverstone, you know what I mean? He's up there, he's constantly, the times are there. That R1 rides like an R6.
Hold on,
It is
you see,
corner speed, isn't
yeah,
it?
but, you see, I can add to that because I had Brad on the BMW and it didn't work.
That's exactly the point. You look at the DNA, that's a perfect way of explaining the Yamaha on that side of things. Is
Yeah.
because
Brad was
Bradley
quick on an
Ray
R6
There's
as well.
lots of things have got to come together.
and the
haven't they?
Suzuki, that was mid-corner. Kyle Ride. Like, you know, when you look
Quicker
at the
on
double
R6
at
as well,
Donington, you know, but
Yeah.
it's you know, that
Exactly.
history of the mid-corner, heavy lean angle riders work well on a Yamaha.
I don't really want to comment on it myself because I haven't ridden one to say, but I'm sure the lads probably don't think of it like that. But I do get it, and I just think for me, there's lots of
Okay, my personal bike, I have Ant West 2017 Super Sport bike. Is my bike. I think it's Kyle's favourite bike in the world.
he's rode it.
He rode it, I can't get it off him. Brad loves it to bits. Ryan loves it to bits. It's a Yamaha, it's a 600.
Yeah.
It rides like the Superbike.
Yeah.
The Superbike rides like that, you know. The R1 is a small 1000. You know, physically
Yeah, it
small.
is. Yeah.
It's like riding a 600. Kyle, excellent Super Sport 600 rider. Brad, excellent 600 rider. Ryan, excellent 600 rider. The R1s are small. It suits.
Yeah, it definitely
It
suits that
suits
style
their-
of riding. 100%. Yeah, you can't argue with
and-
that.
and the
Sorry,
three of them
I'm
are-
not arguing with that, but
The three of them have got different riding styles,
yeah,
but they all excelled on
Supersport.
Yeah.
mid corner.
No. It's that you know. It's not the
It
Johnny
suits.
Ray of stop, turn,
Yeah.
pick, fire. You know what I mean? It's and Johnny Ray has derived that chassis. You know what I mean? They've built it, they've modified it, and that's how he's mid corner speed is a lot slower than everyone else, but he gets on the hammer and yo-yos it. But we're looking at the
Got some
history.
fucking sayings you have.
Wait.
Gets on the hammer and yo-yos.
Yo-yo. Yo-yo.
Every
You've got it
time
in your head.
every time you say that, get on the hammer, I fucking can't stop laughing. And just it just
I'm
makes
editing
it
this
funny. I can't remember when you said it before, and I was pissing myself for fucking hours.
It's always worth
Just
it, to
sounded
be
funny.
fair. But the mad thing is that
We
you're talking
know.
about history. You're talking about the history of the riders, and it is married up to the
Ryan is a class rider, and you don't lose class. You just got to find what fits you again.
I'd go as far to say there's not one shit rider on that
No,
grid.
there's not. Oh, there's
No,
absolutely
no,
not.
honest to God.
That's definitely not what the level is.
We've just gone through that from saying that there are so few that can successfully transition from stock 1000 or stock 6 or super sport to superbike because it's a wildly different thing.
Yeah,
Everybody in this paddock is fucking good
yeah,
because it costs too much money for them not to be good.
Yeah.
You know?
The level in Superbike just on like as a
They're all
as a
good.
racer and you've kind of been there and you've done it not at Superbike level, but and then you look and you obviously being involved and you see the times and you see the effort that's going in. Honestly, this year has blown my mind at the level of Superbike. I've never really been close enough to understand it.
Because I'm old, and so I go back to when everybody had a job, and then they rode bikes on a weekend, you know. And the sport has moved rapidly from that to you have full-time riders. They ride, and when you're not riding, you're keeping fit and you're making sure that you're fit to ride, and that's, you know. But there are still superbike riders out there that are not full-time.
Yeah.
They have jobs, you know.
Because they're not getting paid to be a bike ride.
Yeah. But it's an expensive sport, and
course,
it's, you know, there's lots of people throughout the paddock that don't get paid. We've gone through that. But that's the way you do it. It's the way you got to do it. But you know, so you'll have an electrician. There was a certain math teacher once that was really, really quick and such a nice guy, but he was tough riding, wasn't he? You know, people have jobs.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way this sport works. But it seems to be, and it makes perfect sense, that the guys that are full-time riders, that when they're not riding a bike are keeping fit, and when they're not keeping fit, they're riding a bike. They're quicker.
Yeah.
Because and I don't mean more dedicated mentally, but their whole life is about riding.
Yeah.
You know, or being prepared to ride. Whereas there are some guys, and I'm not knocking anybody because I can't. I wish I could ride as fast as the slowest person in Superbikes. I fucking wish.
Yeah.
You know, because I'd be riding all day long with the biggest smile on my face because, oh my God, look what I can do, you know?
Yeah.
And that's for the slowest people and there are people that I know that watch on TV and go, fucking hell, this shit is.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Mate, try it because it'll spit you off in a heartbeat, you know?
Yeah.
I wish I could do it. And I'm not going to name names because everybody's got who they think is shit. And they're not. No. They're really not. So I wish I could. But it makes common sense that, you know, if you want to play snooker, if you play snooker 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, you're going to beat me when I play twice a week or once a month. Because you are.
But the depth of field's so much. Like, look at Tommy Bryder today, he was 14th.
That let's talk about that. That was bizarre. That threw me right out the window.
Not bizarre at all, because with all due respect, we knew that they were going to struggle here.
Yeah, but then people say that about Silverstone, and then
no, because Silverstone you're not banked over half.
Here it's a different place.
This is how much of this lap is your bike upright?
Never.
Okay, where does the catty get all his drive?
Yeah, in a straight line. Yeah,
so he's going to suffer. Unfortunately, we're only here once.
But the point of that is an off day is like you can't afford to be off.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
He was still in the points.
He's leading the championship, and he's 14th. Like,
can't take away from him. But every bike, I mean, we were saying earlier. So I mean, when we were on, we had our first ever win at Silverstone on Suzuki, and it was always known as a Suzuki track. Yeah, a beeline track. But it because it's chassis dependent, and there's that, as I say, common DNA running through a manufacturer's chassis development for all sizes of their bikes, road bikes, and then we turn road bikes into race bikes. So, you know, from a 125 up to 1,000. You know, the engineers are there, and you know, we all know about, if they do something in Formula One, it ends up in your own car. Well, you know what? Yamaha go out and build a really, really fast road bike, an R1, and then when they know that, in their view, they've got that perfect, that filters down, and the R7's the same, the R6 is the same, all the way down. So there's always going to be commonality. So.
It's built with racing in mind as well, isn't it? Both of them bikes are built.
All sports bikes are.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know, and that's the same for all manufacturers. I mean, I suppose the only anomaly in the manufacturers is the Ducati, because they don't do small bikes.
No.
Well, what are they riding in Super Sport at the minute?
900, is it?
900, yeah. It's still not a small bike.
Mate.
No, you're right, though.
What,
you know what I mean?
Ride?
What, huh?
900. So it's...
Yeah, but that's... I know what you're saying.
Rider.
You're damn right. But, so, I want to talk about Thruxton. Do you, like, you going back to that point, unfortunately, we don't ride at Thruxton more. I totally agree. My first time here,
Love
unbelievable track.
Have you not been here before?
No, I've never been.
Do they not like you?
No one likes me.
Okay.
Not even Josh likes me.
Well, I get that.
That's not true.
You were about to say, yeah, that's true. He
That's
literally
not
looked at
true.
you, winked. So no, but like, no, first time for a lot of tracks for me this year. It's been a hell of a learning curve, but I can't believe how good this place is. And the cameras do not do it justice.
No,
like
it's
it
quick.
is. It's not even the quickness; it's the undulations.
Yeah.
You know, when you watch it on the telly, it's shite. Like, no, it looks good. No, things are breathing, things are moving. But to go watch, it's flat.
This
it's
particular broadcast here, Dom Herbston, pitching for his job at Eurosport.
100%. I'll tell it how it is, son. I'll tell it how it is. You know what I
Can
mean?
you imagine him on Eurosport?
I'll tell you what, people tune in for a giggle. I know that much.
Like tuning to this.
Here's your Josh Corner doing
Madness.
fuck all again in Martring.
You keep saying that. I've told you, I make the tea for the bloke that makes the coffee. I'm very busy.
I like it. I like it. No, but like talking about like Thruxton, and this is a question of the pair of you. I personally like how Thruxton is only on the British calendar. It makes it a bit fairer. You can't test here. It makes it rare. It makes it.
Yeah.
In fact, you know, if I was, if for whatever reason I'm not in the British Championship next year, I am desperate. I am desperate to come back here. I think you could set up your own wildcard business, just for this event. It is phenomenal. So
Have
fast.
you enjoyed your laps here, Mister?
Mate, I've loved it. Absolutely loved it. But like coming here on the way down, I thought, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Because it doesn't give, the camera work, doesn't matter how good it is, it never gives a feel for a place. And when you stand even watching, it's not many
I've actually had a pillion lap here. I had Paul Curran in our first year. We used to run a pillion bike. So we had, we were Suzuki at the time, so a GSX R1000. With a grab rail on the tank, so you could reach around and grab. And we used to do pillion laps for guests, VIPs, whatever you wanted to do, you know. We didn't do it for that. I mean, I used to go and grab people out of the crowd. I'd go and find people that had got leathers on. The hardest bit was finding somebody, you know, we used to have some we bought some helmets, different sizes, bought some leathers, different sizes, bought some boots, gloves. But then you've got to try and match somebody up to that. So if you could find somebody in there that they've got full kit on, it's like, do you want a pillion lap? They go, do you want a pillion lap? How much is it? I go, no, just come. And they think it's a wind up. No, come with me. Let's say you want a pillion lap. And Paul used to take them. Now, to give you an idea of how good I think the likes of Paul are, I mean, most people that are working in the sport now that are, he's going to hate me for this bit now, possibly slightly older than the people that are riding in here for a living. Okay, is that a nicer way of putting it? It's a horrible sport. It's a money sport. We've gone through that. So if you run out of money, you're not riding anymore. If you're not riding, you're not getting picked by a team higher than where you were. Yeah. And so you're all of a sudden that's your career over. And you could have been.
It doesn't take long for that.
You could have been Rossi. You could have been Market. Yeah, but the thing is, you can run out of money today. And somebody runs out today, they're not at Cadwell. That's it. Done. Yeah. They run out of money. They don't finish the season now. They could have been leading the championship in whatever class they're in. Run out of money. They don't win the championship. They don't get picked now. They don't go to wherever they wanted to go.
Downward spiral can happen very, very fast. Yeah.
So it's a very, very cruel sport. But most people, I've got a number of guys that used to race in my team. Paul being one of them. And I don't think Paul will mind me saying, but most people stop racing because of money, absolutely not because of talent, you know. So when you're doing pillion laps, this is how it would work. So Paul would be running the team. We would come in after a session. He would then go and get his leathers on. You'd start the bike up. He'd go and do an out lap and come straight in, pick up his first customer, if you like, who might be 10 stone and know what they're doing and follow him as he leans over on a circuit. He does a lap, he drops them off. The next person jumps on is 25 stone and hasn't got a clue and tries to keep himself vertical when you lean over, so leans the opposite way and destabilises the bike. And then he'll do the next one that'll be 18 stone, the next one that'll be 12 stone, and he'll do 8 of those laps flat out, right? Come back in, get out of his leathers, get back into his work clothes and carry on working on the bike. Now you've changed the dynamics and stability of your bike maybe 8-9 times in the space of 20 minutes. and gone flat out on every lap. Right? Tearing the shit out of a tyre, blah, blah, blah. Just come back to work. That's class.
That is
It's not an easy thing to do.
I drove in there with a stopwatch. Oh, he's moving a 10 for Fatso on the back.
I'll give you a great one. Paul was injured once. So I've got, do you know John Boy Lee?
Yeah.
John Boy Lee is...
He used to ride Supersport while...
R6 Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, same reason. Not enough money.
Yeah,
It's a cruel sport.
Lots of the mechanics are made up of
Yeah.
ex-racers and all.
Yeah,
And
they understand the bike, which is the nice bit. They understand the language from the rider, so that when the rider says this is how it feels, they get it.
the commitment
Know
and
what to do.
what goes into it. And
So, but going back to the Pillion laps, Paul was injured, and we were at Brands Hatch, and John Boy, we'd gone out. We'd first signed. We signed Josh Elliott, I think, on a Friday, and we were going out to a track day. Oh Christ, Almeria, I think, or Aragon, I think it was. On the Monday we were flying out. He's like, okay, we'll take Josh out with us because we're booked. We've got bikes already over there. And it was a track day. Really. We're taking our stock bikes out, and he was going to be a stock rider. So we took him out. And John Boy hadn't been on a bike, I believe, for 11 years. Hadn't put his leg across the bike for 11 years. Because he hadn't got the money to race. And he knew, racing's in his blood. If he's sat on a bike, he's got to race.
yeah,
So it's like being a heroin addict. Don't put anywhere near heroin because I'm going to take it, you know? I assume that's what it is.
That's exactly it. Of course it is. Yeah.
You know, it is a drug, right? So he hadn't, but because he was now working with us and he was back in an environment of racing, he was like, okay. So he gone and bought himself new leathers, new helmet, because it'd been 11 years. He was coming out on a track day, and he went out on my then business partner's bike, Greg, which is a quick bike because it was a bike that had been built by Paul. And on the second lap, his top rack style, his rear wheel is 8-10 inches in the air as he's breaking into the burst.
Class.
And Greg was shitting himself going, he's doing it on purpose because he's like trying to scare him. And I think he was about 2 seconds off Josh, who I'd just hired to ride this bike.
Yeah.
And he hadn't sat on a bike for 11 years. So on the Pillion bit though, 2 weeks later, Paul was injured. We're doing Pillion laps at Brands Hatch. And he put my other business partner on the back of the bike as an experience. Because he was like, well, you know, we've got to do Pillion laps. John Boy, you're on. He'd only ridden a bike once in 11 years, right? And he took Chris, and he's on the back wheel, but he's on the back wheel so far. He's standing like hell on the back brake, trying to get the front down. Darren Fry was doing from FS3, he's doing Pillion laps for other people. He's braking hard into the hairpin, right? And John Boy's gone past on the back wheel. Made it in, but oh dear. Chris was not happy. I
bet he wasn't.
They're all good, you know. This is the sport we're in. So all the guys.
I think anybody. There's lots of levels of this paddock, and look at the F900 Cup, for example. Lots of the lads have
progressed. Dominic Herberson in that. He's fantastic.
Some wobbly bob and ninth. No, I'm joking.
You might be in ninth.
No, I wasn't ninth, so I don't know who this wobbly bob is.
I'm only winding you. I just thought I gave you single digits. It could have been right. Sorry.
We'll talk about single digits in a bit.
Oh, Simon, man.
Excuse the noise off camera is Simon McNally, press communications media officer,
fresh and single,
ex OMG Racing.
I love it.
But he is single, looking for a nice young lady.
Very good, very good.
Handsome, good boy.
You got a link to your Tinder profile there, Simon. Put it in the bio.
But let's move on to the next chapter. The next chapter, which will be the next round. So what have we got remaining? You got Cadwell, Alton Park, Donington Brands. There's 4 rounds left.
Yeah, all good tracks.
Good tracks. So how are things looking at the moment? Because Ryan's riding absolutely fantastic.
Ryan's about 100 points ish off Tommy at the moment.
Let's talk showdown. How far is he off?
There's no showdown.
It's a difference.
Oh, of course there is.
Yeah.
There's a large disparity between points as the further into the season we get.
So it gets more important as you go on, really.
It's better to win from now than it was at the start of the season. So we can have a gap now. So Ryan's about 100 points off Tommy at the moment, I believe. Kyle, I think
he did miss 2 rounds with a wrist is it a wrist injury?
Yeah, he's a young boy. I mean, they get wrist injuries. That's what happens, isn't it?
He broke that scaffold, didn't he? Had a screw put in there. And...
Yeah.
Class. And what about Kyle? Where's he?
Kyle's third in the championship at the moment. I think he's 58-ish, maybe 60, there or thereabouts. 60. My media man in the corner says 60.
Very good.
So if he's wrong, I'm sorry, that was Simon McNally. And if you're a young lady thinking, I'll take that guy, he hasn't got a clue. Carry on.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to ask you a very personal question. It's popped in my mind. You know when Brad, it was a good time. You'll remember this very well. When Brad won the British Championship.
Oh, sorry, yeah, we're running British champions, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, carry on.
Why did he stay? Was there a part?
Why did he stay?
No. Why
He
did
didn't.
you? No,
Did you
no,
not
no,
notice?
you. OMG. Like I'm
Why
just.
did I? Oh my God, there was pardon the pun.
Class.
There were huge thoughts about what do you do, because I mean this year the very, very best we can do is equal what we did last year.
Yeah.
Anything other than equaling last year is we do worse, and that's a fact. There's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
Right. I've said this to people before, and they go, yeah, but you could come first and second in the championship. And fuck off.
Yeah.
Because it's not, right? It's at that point.
Sorry. That's it. I'm laughing. That's great. That. Sorry.
Never mind him, Alan. You carry on.
There's a lot of work. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of pain going to doing it. People go, but you've got this thing. Da, da, da. They don't realise that it's you do end up. There are other businesses involved. My own businesses, and then other businesses sponsoring and so forth to fund this. So you're doing that. That's my day job. So we were talking about riders having a daytime job. So I'm doing that to earn money, to make money, and then everything I earn gets spent on this. Everything I earn gets spent on this. But then, so I have to do all that work, and then I get here on a Wednesday for the weekend. So we get here on a Wednesday evening. We start setting up. The hospital's got to be right. Then and then you don't get any time off. You don't have any days off. You don't have any free time. You don't have any and we get the worst view in the world. I'm stood in pit lane, you're stood at the pit box, and you see your rider go past every minute or two, depending where you are, and you're watching on a TV that's this fucking big, and you think, I should be, and you've got commentary you can't hear coming through it, and you're trying to work out who's doing what, who's doing this, who's doing that, the other. And so I'd always rather be at a live event. If you're there, you've got the smells, you've got the vibration, you've got the noise, you've got the so you want to be here. But there are much better places to view from than the pit lane.
Pit lane's the worst place to watch, yeah.
And watching the TV, if I'm going to watch on the TV, which is what you end up doing in pit lane, my TV's bigger at home than this, I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
I had a bad back today. I didn't watch the race from pit lane today. It's the first time I've ever not watched the race from pit lane because my back was hurting. So I went onto the grid with the guys, wished them luck, blew them a kiss, blah, 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 blah. Told them I'd see them on the podium. Only one of them got there, naughty boys.
Oh, that was good racing. That was fantastic racing. And photo finish over the line, that was just...
And I went back to the motorhome because I got a big telly and I can watch there and I can sit down because it's as much as I could see. But actually, for the first time now in nearly 6 years, I could hear the commentary because you can't hear it. We all watch it. I'll watch it when we've done here now. I'll go back and I'll watch the race again and I'll go through and what's what. But I could have a fag. I could have a fag. I smoke a lot. It's the one place here I can't smoke is pit lane.
Love it. That was the one thing you changed. That's the main question.
I was having a fag and a cup of coffee on a big screen, hear the commentary and see my boys. I hated it in many ways because it's the first time I've ever not been stood at the pit wall. But my back was hurting when I was standing up, so I had to go and sit.
Yeah. But what... You being in Britain, obviously you love being part of the British calendar, you love being here, but your demeanour almost says, right, we've done that. I can just see you, I can see you and the lads standing there going, we're there. You know what I mean? We'll get there one day.
Get where? Where are you pointing?
Brands Hatch, You're in stock,
No,
600
you said
paddock.
we'll get. Oh yeah.
No, but then you're pointing up, going, we'll be there one day.
Yeah.
You're there, you've won the championship, you've done everything. But what I was a little bit shocked with was the fact that you thought that automatic step potentially in the Worlds. You have that.
It's a really weird thing. We've
done that chapter. Let's
we
move
had
to that chapter.
Dorna contact us in our first year. We'd done 2/3 of our first year as OMG when we were on Suzuki, asking us to go to Worlds. Worlds is a different beast. In some ways really good, in other ways not so good.
You'd need bloody 3 Hollies, wouldn't you?
Nah, there's only one Holly.
Holly could piss it.
I'm sure she could.
Holly could piss it.
Can I retract that as well?
The thing is, Worlds is a different beast. So the first one is that they have electronics and they have ride rates, which to me, and this is my personal opinion, makes it an easier bike to ride. I could ride a World Superbike more easily than I could ride a British Superbike because it's going to help me when I do something wrong. And I will do something wrong because I'm not good enough. So therefore, I'd be safer on a World Superbike. So I firmly believe that British Superbike riders are the best Superbike riders in the world because they have more. It's more about them. They are controlling the bike. The bike is not helping them at all.
It's actually it's borderline uncomparable, really, isn't it?
It's not. It's one of those. We've all known of riders where they go and do a wild card at Worlds and they come back and then it's fucked them up.
Yeah.
Because they've been given this bike that this is magic. It's not magical. It's got electronics on it. We don't have that because I've been my riders. World Superbike guys come here and they can't do it.
No.
MotoGP riders come here.
They can't do it. Yeah.
No, I totally agree, and I feel like I felt like I was almost pushing out the door by going, "Why didn't you do that?" But it's just it just shows your passion for this event.
It's a potential option, but if I were ever to do it, it would be because I'd found funding that would allow me to do that as well as BSB.
Right, there we are.
The hardest thing I think with Worlds in many ways is an easier championship. I mean, the first thing is that it's normally warm and dry. Normally, that's how they try and set the calendar. Okay, nobody wants to race in the rain because it happens. Because rain comes when you don't expect it. But anyway, especially if you planned a calendar a year in advance, is it going to rain on Tuesday? But so it's normally you're following the world around to get a fairly consistent temperature, a fairly consistent right. So that's number one. The championship themselves in a similar way that MotoGP do, and then in four-wheel versions that Formula One do and things like that. There's a service part of that championship that assists you to move what you need from circuit to circuit.
Yeah. So
your bikes are transported, your kit is transported. You pay for it, they pay for it. It depends where you are in the championship. So the logistics side of it isn't as hard as when you first look and go, "Oh my fuck, how are we going to do this? We've got to fly to." No.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. They help you. They want you there, they help you.
Yes.
Right? So there's that. There's then on a sponsorship side, which is what we all run on, you've now got a global market. It changes the sponsorship people that you're talking to. I mean, there's no point in the UK, in British
You
Superbike.
are useless, aren't you?
your P45's hanging on the door there, Simon.
Oh, he's had it ready for fucking months.
That's dreadful, sorry. There's no point having the largest supplier of plumbing equipment in Australia as a sponsor in British Superbike.
Yeah.
But there's an argument for it in Wales because you're going to go and race there. Okay, and if it's big enough for him for the event that they do, then it's fine. Okay, that's a one company sponsor.
Yeah.
Then you've got the sponsors around the world that have got the most money and most ability to sponsor a team of any sort, 4 or 2 wheels, are global companies and they work in various markets. Again, so they may look at British Superbikes as it's fantastic, and they should, because it is. But it's not right for them because they only do 3% of their business in the UK, whereas we do 18% in Spain and we do 30% in the US. Do you know? But that's justifiable business for them on the world stage. So it opens the market up to a lot more different sponsors with potentially a lot more money that can help you do it. Because we're mobile billboards, that's what we are.
Yeah.
We're an entertainment company. We ride motorcycles round and round in circles with somebody else's name on the side, and we all love it.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, really. What a business model. If you explain this business model to anybody, they go, "Are you fucking mad?"
Are you nuts?
You know.
But
It can be easier to do worlds, even though it's going to cost you more money, even though there's a lot more logistics, it can be an easy thing to do.
But the main question, do you want to go to Worlds?
Part of me, yes. Another part of me, no. Which is why, if there was a bottomless pit, yeah, because I love racing.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you get it?
Yeah, you know.
So, sorry, carry on.
But I wouldn't move from here to go there. Never.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's very good to hear.
it's good, you know what I mean?
No, I'm going to give you the other bit. The other part of this as well is that the hardest part of Worlds, and this is the thing that stops people doing it, a lot of people doing it. The hardest part is, and we've gone through, which is the most vital part of any team, because we can all go and buy a motorcycle. We can all go part of it. The hardest, the most important thing are your staff, the people that are your team mechanics, your tyre guys, Okay? So, our guys come away now for 3, 4 or 5 days, depending what they do in the team. Some guys get it on a Wednesday night, some guys get it on a Friday morning.
Yeah.
And something between, right? And every race. On average, once every 2 weeks for 5-ish months of the year. But Worlds is different. Worlds, tyre guy or tyre girl goes to their respective partner, husband, wife, girlfriend, but whatever it might be. I'm off to Phillip Island.
For a month.
And then from there, I'm going to go to Malaysia. And then from there, I'm going to go I'm going to be back in 8 weeks. But when I get back, it'd be great because I'm going to be back for 6 days. And then I'm going to go away again for another month. It's really tough on people's home lives.
Of course it is, yeah.
So as soon as ordinarily the best people in the world are the people with the most experience. People with more experience tend not to be 17. Okay, so they tend to be a little bit older, and when you get a little bit older, there's a really weird thing that happens: is that you have a lifelong partner for in whatever coupling that is, male, female, and then you quite possibly have children as well, and it stops them being able to travel. Yeah. So if you want the best people, it becomes very, very difficult to get them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge undertaking.
It makes it difficult.
So going full circle then back to the...
Just being a drunken bum watching... No. You said full circle. I thought we were going back to the start. Well, okay.
So the announcement that you are going to be the official Yamaha team in BSB then.
Indeed.
Does that... so how much has your phone rang, bearing in mind there's 4 rounds of the season left?
From who?
From riders, people wanting to ride your bike.
I've been trying to get a ride with him for years. Oh, that sounded weird.
I've had...
Well, yes.
I've had one rider contact me while I was sat here.
Yeah.
That's the first.
Oh, how weird.
Well, you've just given away who that is.
I fucking haven't, because I didn't say who it was.
We'll edit that bit out.
I've said I've had a message on my phone.
I didn't even name. Did you even name you two?
Yeah.
Blip that out then.
Shut
if
up,
I said a name, blip that out. But I didn't think I did.
I'm going to start a right room and when I get back up to the lads in the garage
because that's not something I would do.
Yeah, he's the Yamaha supplier, remember that.
But in general, sorry, so like, I'm sort of taking the piss when I say that, but
no.
I mean, how does that now, is that going to affect your preparation for 2024? So it is going to be a 2024 because you're going to be official Yamaha, that you've committed to doing that at least.
Well, I'm 25. I'm 26. We have a multi-year deal with Yamaha.
Good.
It's Ryan is on a 2-year contract anyway. This is his first year, so Ryan's with us. Kyle's on a 12-month contract. I don't think I'm not talking out of turn, and sorry, Kyle, but Kyle started with us on a 2-year contract and then has gone yearly from then. I think it takes any rider. It could take a rider a year to settle into the team and be da-da-da. So I think it's fair. So they've all had a 2-year contract to start, which Kyle had, and then elected for a 1 year. I'd have gone longer because I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't want him to go. He might want to. He might not want to. We haven't actually spoke about it yet.
Yeah.
The way I look at things at the minute is that I will have Ryan. I would like Ryan and Kyle both on the bike next year, and that's it.
Any chances of you ever run a third bike?
Yeah.
In Superbike?
Right.
Oh, I've got to expand. It's the way you look at it and go, expand on that.
I
Right, there's a thing on your wall there, and it says 3-2-1, and obviously that's for Chrissy. But I would love a 3-2-1 in the same race.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
Oh.
It's been done before.
Yeah.
JG Speed
did
did it before, which means I'd have to do it twice.
Just
But it's just one of those. But that's because I'm an arsehole. That's because I'm an arsehole. You know, I mean, you come into racing, the first thing you want is a podium.
Yeah.
It's not the first thing you aim. You don't aim for a win first.
No.
You aim for a podium.
Yeah.
I've got a trophy.
Then you get
the next thing you aim for a win,
Yeah.
and it goes on from there. So
Then no people outside the sport don't understand this. Like,
well, I don't get anything.
yeah.
Right? No, but I don't. Right. Riders get recognition from the sport and from they get a trophy.
Oh, sorry, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So I have my own personal targets because I'm not out there racing and I'm not right, and I don't particularly like being known or noticed or anything. I'm not doing it to hi, this is
For
me.
status or anything
I'm
like that.
not interested in that. I don't like it when we do win. The only time the team get a trophy is when your rider wins. Rider gets a trophy 1, 2, 3. Team get a trophy
If you win.
So the only time we get a trophy, and I don't go up to get it. I'm not, oh, hi, look at me. Oh, right? I don't like it. The guys go, I send the guys up and they're proud to go up. But they've actually worked on it.
Of course, yeah.
I haven't worked on it. You know?
very
they
honest.
built his engine, they've done his suspension, they've done, they deserve to
It's
go
such a
up and be
drug, isn't it?
recognised.
And once you've you say you pine for that first podium, and then you're like, oh yeah, great. Then when you win one, nothing else is good enough. Like that.
I'll tell you what the weird bit is.
Scratch.
The worst one is that when you start doing really well, as we were last year, and then you get a fourth.
Oh, and then then everyone's suicidal. Like,
You know what the fucking hell's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on while we're fourth? Which is really bad.
no, but it's great. It's competition, right? It's good.
Everybody was.
There's a lack of that.
We're only here to win. Nobody's here to come last.
Hey, tell you what, speaking of teams on that side of things, but with McCam's leaving, Raceways stepping down.
Yes.
Is there any signs, any hope that someone is gonna come into the paddoc? Because at the end of the day,
It's a
teams
slot
are
for a new
leaving.
team,
There is a slot for a new team. You've taken over the Yamaha and
there's
that's
space for
sort.
a team. I mean, I've heard rumours. I don't.
Which is good.
I don't
No,
like talking about.
No,
rumours
don't talk about
because-
them. But it's good that
I've heard rumours that the. There are rumours that somebody's going to bring a team in. It hasn't happened. You don't know how firm that. Who knows? Rumours are rumours. I could start a rumour about you tonight, Dom. That would be a load of bollocks.
I think you should, for the crack.
It probably wouldn't be.
Absolutely.
I think I would probably write that storm out. To be fair,
He's the
whatever
third
it is.
Superbike rider. You've just started it, Alan. You just said you'd run a third. He'd be the third.
I'm
I
interested.
said it's a
I want to
really
be in the
tough
roads.
transition from a bike with electronics to no. Dom knows I love him to bits, and if the stars align.
What about road racing? Are you going to still go road racing as part now that you're official Yamaha? Can you do that?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Right.
Ah. So what does that mean? No TT?
Does it mean no TT? Nope.
Just not Yamaha.
Now, in the first episode, I remember saying that Alan really got into racing period was because his was road racing, and that's how you were a big Joey fan, John McGuinness fan, even. You know what I mean?
I don't know whether I can
point.
expand on it. That's
Right.
part of my contract.
Yeah,
I
fair.
don't know if I can
Understand.
expand on
Yeah,
it.
fair.
But you want to be at the TT next year.
Me personally,
Yeah.
yes.
There we are. That says volumes in that. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm trying to duck out of it.
Yeah.
If people listen to
I
this,
appreciate you can't talk
no,
too much
but
about
There
it. so
are
I
things
get
that I can't do. In the same way, I couldn't run a different brake pad in. I'm not allowed to because these are the deals that you do. So no, as we won't run a Yamaha at the TT, but I want to be involved in the TT. I love the TT.
Right. That's important to hear because if you answered that, just going, don't know. It's like, well, the speculation. No, I'm just speaking.
How
I'm speaking
it's
as a
going
fan.
to be?
You know what I mean?
How it's going to be? I don't know at the moment because I haven't sussed it, sorted it out. I don't know.
No, but it's good that you want to be there.
Yeah, I want to be involved in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
There's a particular Dominic Herberton that I help with his TT endeavours.
Yes,
and that will continue regardless. And to what level? What level? Not only do I bring him cakes, I pay for all sorts of shit for him as well. That will continue, and then working out how to do things. But I love the TT.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, great.
I
Good to hear that.
I feel like we're sifting through Simon's job here. It's great because we're like going through like the social media presence, and I like. No,
Do you
I
think
like
he's
that.
actually not here to make sure that's not you?
No, not at all.
He's
No,
not.
I asked him. No, to be fair, no, I really get on with Simon. He comes down, he has a bit of crack, drinks for a quick shift of coffee. Plug.
I've never had a quick
I
shift of
don't
coffee.
think that should be said, being we have a different coffee sponsor.
Oh,
Express
right.
Coffee.
Well, it's a good thing you're on Chasin the
Superbikes
Racing.
Press.
We're not in your studio, we're in Grace's.
All things come to an end, Simon.
The fact that you just winked at me so close to my face is a bit.
It's going to
Literally
cost you a lot.
into a head on camera as well. That's what I like about that one. You know what I mean? I'll just get my head out of
The
shot
guys
and
at
wink.
Quick Shift are like a challenge. I reckon they could kick
Right,
you
if
out.
you're doing product placement again, I'm just going to have to go. We
Quick,
have Chasing
wait.
the Shine, Rapid
I've
Detail.
already got my bottle here. Look.
Gloss,
Grace
enhancing spray.
Rouse has worked incredibly
Grace
hard
Rouse.
on that. You have no idea, and it's
I'm going to reiterate.
He's going on my.
Chrissy
shop.
Rouse's little sister has worked entirely really hard on this.
100%.
And we all like polishing things, don't we? So I think we should do it.
But I tell you what, like speaking of social media presence, and I really would like to touch base on it. With Simon the other day, we are here at Thruxton. The news came out several hours ago, and you were actually talking about a very serious situation in regards to
We're going
prostate.
serious now.
Oh, very serious. We're going to go very serious because
Okay.
you know that was. I'm going to speak as someone who just viewed that myself, and it was like you just openly and straight out of the blue talked about prostate cancer
Yes.
and how.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can I
and
do it?
No, go
Okay.
for it, my man. Go for it.
So I said, right, okay. Yeah, I was been having tests. I was diagnosed on Wednesday of this week, so 3 days ago. I have prostate cancer. I've got some more tests to have. I've got to find out what can be done. But there's lots and lots and lots and lots that can be done.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Men don't go and get checked. You don't go and get fucking checked. Women get letters from their doctors all the time. They have to go for a smear test. They have to go for a mammogram. They have to go and they get these. Some women go for annual mammograms. They get called every time because breast cancer is a big thing.
Yes.
Prostate cancer kills more men than breast cancer kills women. But women are called in by the doctor. Men don't. We don't get. I've never had a letter off my doctor saying, "Come in and have an exam."
Yeah.
Because this is really important. I'm going to give you some numbers. No, I'm on my soapbox now.
No, you go for
I'm
it.
on my soapbox now. Right. So, 1 in 8 men of all ages will suffer from prostate cancer. When you get above 40, you need to start getting tested. When you go above 50, your odds are coming down much, much worse than that. If you happen to be black, it's half that, 1 in 4 black men. So it's even more important that if you're black.
Bloody hell.
And it can affect them earlier in age. They need to start getting tested at mid-30s. A man dies of prostate cancer every 45 minutes in the UK. It's the biggest killer of men. Well, it's still the biggest killer of men, other than old age. We all die of that. How many people listen to your podcast, Tom?
Roughly 180,000 people a month.
180,000 people a month. So if we divide that by that, it's 22,500 of you listening now. Most of you are men. Are going to get prostate cancer. Fact. If you had a black audience, it'd be 45,000.
Yeah, it's
For the women that are listening, you've got a husband, a brother, a father, an uncle, a mate, a lover, whatever it might be. You may have all 5 or 6 of those, right? If you've got 8 friends, one of them's going to get prostate cancer statistically. So tell them all to fucking go and get tested. It's really, really simple. I'm going to tell you how it works now. Right. So we all know what it is. They've put a finger up your bum.
Yeah.
It's that. It's called a DRE, which makes it sound nice. Yeah. It's a digital rectal exam.
I've had a few.
That's
it's not that
digit,
bad.
You know?
Yeah, but you were
Some
doing
of
it
you
for
love
recreational.
Some of you will love it. Some of you pay for it. Some of you beg your missus to do it for you.
Jesus
right?
wept.
Some people do. Each their own. I'm not judging. But you know what?
While you're there.
In this instance, it's much, much better to have a medical professional do it because they know what they're prodding around for. Not just giving you pleasure. They're going to have a little feel about your prostate.
How did you find out?
I had a finger up my bum.
No.
That's
but-
what I just fucking told you.
No, I'm fully aware of that. But like, no, I feel like I'm.
You're fully aware that
I am a surgeon, tree surgeon, but that's
Yeah.
No, but like, no, I mean,
You're not putting a chainsaw anywhere near it, mate. I can assure you.
There you go. But no, was there symptoms?
I'll give you right.
Was there like I'm
No,
just.
but see, we'll talk
big,
about symptoms
massive
and we'll
news.
talk about a lack of symptoms because I don't want anything that was happening with me.
Yeah.
I don't want people hearing that going, "Oh, I haven't got
But,
that."
yeah,
I
of
don't
course,
need to get
yeah.
tested. Okay, so I'm going to give you the symptoms that you can get. I may get some of these wrong, or be a little bit out, or I've missed some. Right, but you can. Let's go for the things that men worry about and know about with prostate cancer. Okay, I can't go to the toilet. I can't have a pee. I can't get it up. I can't maintain it when it gets up. Those are what men are going to be scared of, and that's why we don't go and get checked.
Yeah.
Because if we get told that, we think it's the end of the world.
I never thought not being able to get a stonk on was anything to do with that.
But it can be, right. So your prostate it should be about the size of, I don't know what they say, a walnut. I'd have said a golf ball.
It's a golf ball, isn't it?
You would think, no, but a doctor will say a walnut. To me, it's a golf ball, because I think more people have seen a golf ball than seen a walnut.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty big. It's a different shape, I suppose, but
Right,
it's
so
a golf ball.
your prostate, let's say your prostate should be about that big, okay? And surrounded by your prostate is behind your bladder and above your rectum, it's right in the middle of your pelvic region. But so it's all in the same region as to where you've got everything else to do with that's around your pelvic region. So it's got pipes around it that you pee out of, your urethra and things like that. It's got da-da-da-da. So if it swells, if it expands in any way, we're in a motorcycle paddock, race paddock at the minute. There are hose pipes running all over the place. And if somebody goes and parks his fucking transit on it, you got no water coming out.
Yeah.
Right.
best analogy I've ever heard.
I work on analogies. Yeah, but you know exactly what I mean, don't you?
100%, yeah.
Right.
100%.
So, but it can affect all sorts. It can affect that you can't get it because it's hitting nerves. Depending where it swells and what it does. But the biggest thing, and those are the three that we worry about because that's just being a man, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not having a finger on my bum because I'm a man, and I'm not having any of these problems because I'm a man. Blood of fucking bollocks, right? So, but in addition to that, okay, you can have mood swings, you can have personality changes, you can have stress from it, you can have a bad back, right? Now, as we get on, I'm 55, right, and you're meant to start getting tested when you're 40. That's what we're told, but nobody actually really tells us. We all know it.
They advise
We've
it,
all
but
heard
they
it.
don't.
But women get called in. The doctor sends them a letter, said, "We've made you an appointment. You're having a smear test on Tuesday." We don't get fuck all, right? So that's
Yeah.
wrong. We've got to go. Doc, please put a finger up my bum. Tell me if I'm all right. Okay? But the worst bit, no, I know you're trying to butt in, Dom. I'm not going to let you know. The worst bit of this is that you can have no symptoms whatsoever and have prostate cancer. Because the symptoms arise depending how your prostate swells or grows or the tumour grows. If it doesn't hit anything, because of where it's happened to grow, it ain't going to affect you. So the only way you can be riddled with fucking cancer, or you can be right at the very start of it and be able to catch it really early and not know a thing because nothing's happened. You're not ill, you're not in a bad mood, you get it up perfect, you pee like a fire hydrant, whatever, right? But you got it. The only way you know is to have a test. So go and don't butt in now.
I want to know.
Don't butt in yet, I'm telling people, go and have a test. It's very, very simple. It'll take about 10 seconds. It's not the end of the world, right? It might be mildly uncomfortable. You might be a little bit embarrassed by it.
Mate,
It's
like
just a thing. You may love it, mate. Oh my God, you may switch allegiance. Who knows, right? And if you do, you do. But what you need to do, the biggest thing is, don't have a finger up your bum from Dom Herbson because he's got the end of it missing. He won't be able to reach. Right, it's got to be a long enough finger. But
he's not that sort of
it's not
surgeon.
going that deep, is it? It's not like it's going that deep, you know, because it's not that. You'll be fine. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt, right?
Yeah.
And if they find something, then you might have to have someone else. Now the next thing you're probably going to have is a blood test. But that's a piece of piss. It's just a fucking blood test, you know. And they'll do a PSA test, which is a prostate-specific antigen test, and they're just testing literally for abnormalities in your prostate. And if they find abnormalities there, they might send you for another test, which might be a biopsy, where they're going to take a little bit of your prostate out. And that might be uncomfortable. It might actually fucking hurt a little bit. But you know what? You've probably got cancer now. Who gives a fuck if it hurts a little bit? Most of the people I'm talking to here have got motorbikes or ride. You've crashed. We've all crashed. It hurts a little bit. We get back on, don't we? So go and have a fucking test. 7 times out of 8, they're going to go, you're fine, Mr. Herbertson, right? On your way. But I want to see you again in a couple of years. And you're going to do it again. And if you're lucky, you'll have the same doctor and you'll build a relationship and it'll be love. What were you trying? Go and get fucking tested. If you're over 40, go and get tested.
But the question, did you have any symptoms?
Yes.
Right. And that's how, like, this is the thing, because I'm sitting
55,
here.
I'm 55, and you start blaming your symptoms on, I'm old. This is what happens when you're old. We all think it, I get a bad back when I'm old. Oh, sometimes I can't get it up when I'm old. I've drunk too much, that's why I didn't get it up. I've got a headache, my mood's changed, whatever it might be, right? It's because I'm getting old. No, it's not. It's because this fucking thing is growing inside you and it's pressing things and you've got no control. If somebody in this paddock parks his transit van on your fucking hosepipe, you've got no shower.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. You haven't done anything wrong.
And is it
transit? Move the transit, sort the transit.
Yeah.
Your shower's working again.
Yeah.
It's easy, isn't it?
What's the situation around age then? So is it...
You should start going when you're 40.
So not before 40, just do nothing?
No, right, your prostate, apparently, I don't know everything. I'm not a doctor. I've learned lots and lots and lots over the several sleepless nights since I had through this week. And I haven't had sleepless nights because I'm worried, because I know something can be done about it. Hopefully it's caught early enough. There are 4 stages. I went through these on a video the other day. I got Simon to film for us to try and get people to do it. I hope I get this right. If there's a doctor watching and I get this wrong, I'm really, really sorry, but I'm trying to remember. Stage 1 is that it's the first stage of prostate cancer, and you've got cancerous cells and or a tumour growing inside your prostate. Stage 2 is that it's got to the edge of the prostate, and now obviously, let's be logical, it's in danger of getting out of there now, and it's got to the edge. Yeah, so stage 2. Stage 3 is that it has escaped the prostate and is now you've got cancerous cells growing in other parts of your body, but within the pelvic region. So you may have cancer of the bladder, you may have cancer of the rectum, you may have cancer. Yeah. Stage 4 is it's got out of the pelvic region, and it could be anywhere in your body, because that's what cancer does.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's a really weird cancer. It can absolutely be cured. Now everybody has this, it's cancer, it's the end of the world, I'm going to die. And we've just said that prostate cancer is the biggest killer of men in the UK, and it is. But that's because we haven't been tested. So we haven't caught it at stage 1 or stage 2 when it can be cured, absolutely cured and eradicated. We find it at stage 4 when we're nearly dying already, because it's now in your lungs and in your heart and in your brain and in your spleen and in your spine. So we need to catch it at 1.
Yeah.
And the way we catch it as 1 is that a doctor goes like this on your prostate, and they only can do that by shoving a finger up your bum. It's not the end of the world. Mm. You may have no symptoms whatsoever, nothing, not a headache, not nothing. Okay, but you know what? Once a year, you take your car to have an MOT.
Do it for your body.
Go and have a little MOT in your body. Say, Doc, do us a favour, shove your finger up my bum, tell me how my prostate is, and they'll do it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
It's kind of nice, sorry Dom, to sort of obviously this is a negative thing for you, but
for me it's negative.
Put a very positive spin on it to try and drive a bit of awareness for other people.
I'm 15 years late. I don't know how far it is at the minute, and I'm hopeful, and I'm being told it's most likely that I'm stage 1 or stage 2 because of how it felt.
Yeah, that's good news.
You know, but what if I hadn't gone? And I waited another 5 years and I'm now at stage 4. Now, if you wait till stage 4, I'm going to give you the horrifying bit. So I can be cured now. Now, there are different things that, if I'm 1 or 2, you can be cured. I don't mean that you can be cured. Gone, eradicate, sorted, you're fine. There are injections that you can have every now and then. I don't know much about those at the minute, so doctors, please put comments on here or put websites for people to find that manage it. You can have radiation therapy. Now, we all know, we've heard the horror thing, your hair falls out, No. You can get this on the NHS, but I think there's a very long waiting list, so it's not very good for that. You can get this privately in the UK, and you can get it privately abroad. This is an unfortunate situation, a little bit like racing, is that if you haven't got enough money to race, then you stop racing. If you've got enough money, you can cure this very, very quickly. Okay,
Yeah.
cunt.
Yeah, that's
Probably
just
not allowed
life,
to say that in
unfortunately.
this, right? But it is doable. Now, for me, if I hadn't got enough money, I'd remortgage my house
For your health.
for my health, because it's only a fucking house. But that's me. I'm just saying that for what I would do. There are clinics that you can go to that have a 98% success rate and can cure you in 5 days. Proton beam therapy. It's a highly, highly massive dose of radiation. Waffling. It's a massive radiation dose, but it's highly accurate, and it only targets the cancer cells. It doesn't damage any cells around it. So you have no side effects from it. You have no exorcism.
So very strong but localized.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. If you wait till you're stage 3 and absolutely 4, you're going to end up having your prostate removed. And when you have your prostate removed, you will not get it up.
Yeah.
Not even with little blue pills will you get it up if you have it removed.
What are
Right?
those?
They're called Viagra, mate, and we all know what they are, right? I know we've been silly all night, but this is really serious, right? You will not get it up. Do you want the even worse bit of it? Because you might get you'll be incontinent as well. You'll be walking around in a fucking nappy.
Yeah.
You're cool. Or go and get a finger up the bum tomorrow morning, and the doc go, you're fine, but come back next year, we'll try again.
How knowledgeable were you about prostate cancer? That's a question to you.
Wasn't.
I'm gonna. I knew nothing.
Wasn't.
I'm gonna be.
I knew a little bit. Because a friend of mine, and I absolutely categorically will not name him, but a friend of mine some 15, 20 years ago had prostate cancer. And I did some research for him at the time, because he was telling me, and he knew nothing, and he wasn't the most computer literate person in the world. So I was doing Google, because that's what you do. I knew absolutely nothing about it then. And I found a clinic for him in the Czech Republic that did proton beam therapy. It was very, very new at the time. At the time, it was about 15 or 18 grand. He didn't have it done. He subsequently had his prostate removed on the NHS and has the associated problems that we've just been discussing.
Oh God.
That I know for an absolute fact that same clinic is still working today, because I found them.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I remember from it.
Yeah.
And here's the worst bit of it. This is how fucking useless we are as men. So my friend, 15, 18 years ago, had his prostate removed because he'd left it too long. And I left it another 15 years
To get a check.
to get checked. Because I'm like anybody that's listening to this going, I'm all right, I'm not having nothing. I'm a fucking idiot. Go and get it checked.
Yeah.
If you think it's embarrassing, tough. Don't tell anyone you've had it done.
It's not embarrassing.
No,
But people, I don't know why.
It's,
I don't know why men go. I don't know why I didn't. I think I didn't go because you think. I don't know.
But I think we as men think that other people will think it's embarrassing, but actually nobody gives a shit.
No.
Nobody, if I told you that, you'd be like, good for you. You're not gonna.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be a dick about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We do think that. We do, like, I have a stomach thing and I can't drink milk and stuff like that. Tom says I can't. What did you say?
Go and have fun.
Can't drink beer. Can't drink beer and all that sort of stuff. But it's not embarrassing. And
I don't care if it is embarrassing. Just don't tell anyone. Just go and get it done.
It's irrelevant. Yeah, it's important to get it done.
You know? And also as men, if I've been speaking to lots of people since I put that video out on our socials the other day, because I now I'm trying to. I'm not very happy that I've got it.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
And part of, I guess, if I'm brutally honest, part of my coping mechanism is that if I talk about it loud enough, I can ignore me being not very happy about the problem,
Understandable.
because I can do something good about it, or try to. If one person listening to this gets tested, finds out they've got it and gets cured, happy days, If it's 1,000 people, even happier. There's 22,500 people listening to this that are potentially going to have it. So, but I've been finding out lots and lots about it. I've been finding out, but I've been talking to people that have been contacting me. So I'm getting And for anything, I haven't answered anybody because you've been amazed how many people have contacted me. But I've had, I don't know where I've got my fucking number from. This is the most worrying bit. Lots of them have had contacting me through things like Facebook and through Instagram, where they can find you. I've had lots and lots of WhatsApp messages. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. But anyway, so whoever's given up my fucking number, right? Give us a break. But no, I don't mind. But I've got lots and lots of people and telling me what's happened with them, or what's happened with somebody they know and how they've suffered. But also people telling me that the reason that they haven't gone is that they had been having, because they'd been having problems with certain symptoms. If they were the person that had the problem, that they weren't getting it up, or if they were the problem that was the person that was having the problem, that they were walking down the street and they were pissing themselves, which they find embarrassing. That then started affecting their personal life at home. It's affected them with their wife or with their girlfriend, because they then were standoffish with them and they weren't. So it started making them more angry. This is where the mood bit comes in, apparently, isn't it? Because it changes your personality, because it changes you, what you perceive yourself to be as a man. You do this, I'm not a man anymore, because somebody's trod on my fucking hosepipe. I'm not a man. No, move the transit van.
Yeah.
Right? Because if this was a motorhome we're on now and you went to have a shower and you couldn't have a shower, what would you do? Go, oh, fuck it, I'm never going to shower again. No, you go outside there and go, who's on my fucking hose pipe? Mate, move that transit, I can't have a fucking shower. It's not hard, right? But we don't, because men, we're shit. So we suffer in silence, because that's what men do. And it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And this is why men die, because the men that die of it are stage 4 and is riddled through the body, and there's nothing you can do anymore because it's affected every part of the body.
Because of denial to a degree.
So it's not prostate cancer that they've died of, because it's ended up eating the brain or their heart or the spine or whatever it is, right? But it affects personality then, because it's got anti-brain, but it affects your personality because of how we think about ourselves. And this is what I've been getting from people contacting me. I'm not an agony uncle or agony aunt or whatever it is. I find it really quite weird. But I'm more than happy to answer anybody. But if there's people I haven't yet, and my phone's been buzzing again tonight already while I've been here, and I haven't answered yet. But you've got to talk to your partner and go, oh, darling, I've got this problem. I don't know what it is, right? Because if you're not being loving with your partner, she thinks it's her, or you're doing something you shouldn't, or whatever it might be. Go to the doctor, have a finger up your arse. The doctor goes, your problem is you've got an enlarged prostate. Let's test whether it's cancer or something else. Whatever it is, at that point, we can sort it, most likely.
Yeah.
Changes your life.
To answer your question, Dom, I actually didn't really...
I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about it, but I've recently just... so a family member's got it, and it's going to kill him. Like, he's going to... It's not going to happen for him, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's late on, but
he needs to have been
exactly, yeah. But
did you hear that?
And he's in a lot older life than yourself, to be fair, and so on and so forth.
You know what? We blame things on being old.
But them symptoms you talk about, he had them for such a long time.
Yeah.
But then it's the man element of going. I'm
but you know what? Are those symptoms because of that? But we blame it on being old.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, struggling for the bathroom and all, and that, and.
But there's no need. Somebody's stood on his hosepipe.
Yeah, I know. It's scary. It's great that you've been able to share that. Thanks for that.
Well, it's like, I don't like doing it.
No.
You know.
First of all, thank you. I tell you what, it's not even a thank you situation, but thank you for being very open and honest about this, because I had no idea about this. You know what I mean? I had no idea.
Right, there's a little phrase here, you've got a platform. I personally haven't got a platform because I'm not a big fan of social media myself. But I'm I'm in a very fortunate position that I have I have a motorcycle race team, and we have people that pay attention to anything we put out, which is great because I can put it out to somebody. And then there's a particular Dominic Herberton who I'd like to consider a friend. I don't know what to do, but I'd like to consider a friend who has, in those horrible words, a much bigger platform than I have. So I brought him cakes so that he'd let me on and talk about having fingers up your bum. It's not hard, it doesn't hurt. They've got the best lube in the world.
I don't know
what it is. They must be able to market that somewhere.
No, but on a personal note, totally out of that though, like, thank you for coming on here, because Chrissy started this and kept this going to help people. And I'm not being funny. A man of your position.
Don't do that. I can see your eyes. Don't do that.
No, I'm telling you now. Like, a man of your position
Chrissy
didn't
will beat you.
But like, a man of your position doesn't do this normally.
No.
You know what I mean? A man of team, you know, that
I
position.
was actually a
you're
bit
at.
shocked when you called us and explained the situation. I was like, oh.
You know, and so
Well, they
incredible. No, but they should, but people don't, and you have, and
They should.
and that is. It's very, very like, I don't even know the words. It's just very.
This doesn't help, does it, I suppose. But I didn't say that it was this.
At least you're not smoking up your arse.
Yeah, but the point is, it doesn't matter, doesn't it? You've got to
Used
get...
to be a cure for drowning. That
We
you
talked
know.
about that earlier.
Did you know that? Used to be a cure for drowning. Look this up. Silly
You've
thing.
googled everything, yeah.
Where my brother calls me Noddy, which is short for Noddy Know All. So they used to be on the banks of the Thames. They used to have fires and bellows, and if anybody fell in the Thames, they'd rescue them out. They'd pull them out of the Thames. They get the bellows and they blow smoke up their arse, and that's where the saying comes from: not blowing smoke up your arse. But they thought it would cure drowning. Don't ask me why they thought it would cure drowning.
Excellent.
But yeah,
See, we're
There you
learning
go.
so much on this.
Every day's
this
a
episode.
story.
But sorry, Faye.
I'm sorry for filling your little cabin here with smoke.
No, it's like, but seriously though,
Wouldn't
like,
be me.
but like, all that aside, thank you so, like, Chrissy be like, you know, to come on here to help
I
further
love Chrissy
people.
to
That's
bits.
no, and I know you do, and everyone listening to this loves him to bits. This whole paddock loves him. But I tell you what, I must ask like another question, and this is gonna be, why can't there be, you know, like smear tests? They set them up outside shops, and you know, the NHS
Well, they can.
wagons.
So-
and I'm just thinking,
No.
why can't they,
I'm
you know,
going
if
to
you've got,
expand on that then. So we've already been talking now, and it's
if you've
very,
got-
very early.
because if you've got the top lads, all the you know, all the BSB lads, imagine turning up
Like a clinic.
like a
mobile.
pre-check.
I got my team together on. So I found out on Wednesday evening. First thing I had to do was I decided then that I have to make some form of positive out of my news for so that I could probably deal with it myself. It was a way of dealing with it. And so I know then that I've got OMG Racing. I can put things out on that. Whether people agree with me putting it out, or whether a sponsor would go, oh my god, you know, if a sponsor doesn't like it, and I'm trying to get people to, frankly, they can fuck off.
Yeah,
because,
damn right. Damn right. Aye.
So, but the first thing I had to do was I had to go and see my daughter, because my daughter's husband watches BSB and follows us. She's not a big fan of bikes, never has been. But she was going to find out, oh shit, I've got to go and tell my daughter now that I've got this. So I did that, and I just told her that the reason I'm telling you now, and I'm having to sort of rush tell you, because this was Wednesday evening. I'd already been here once on Wednesday to bring our kitchen truck down, and I'd gone back to get my car, and I was coming down the following day. And so, but I'm in a rush. I've got to get down to Thruxton. I'm like, I'm not going to say her name because she won't want me to do that on here. But I've got to tell you this news. I had to, you know, and so I had to go. And then we got down here on Thursday. Then I called all the guys into the garage, and I told them on the basis of, you're all getting tested now. Now, I was in a very, very fortunate. I've got to go on the testing bit, and I know I'm waffling. I know you're trying to leave, Josh. Sorry, mate.
No, I'm not trying to leave. No, you carry on.
The NHS will test you. You can phone up your normal doctor and get an appointment, but I understand that. I mean, the first person I told, again, I won't say this is because they are getting themselves tested, and that's their private business now, what they do. But the first person I told my news, I've gone, have you been tested? Because he's nearly 50 and he hadn't. I said, well, go and get yourself fucking tested. You've got to get yourself tested. That was became my mission at the minute, I suppose. And he's phoned up his doctor. Now he's in at the start of September at some point. So he's like 3 or 4, right? Going to NHS. Now, when I booked, I don't know what made me do it, because I've not had a test before, and I should have had a test 15 years ago. Things have been, and I'm like, I've got to go and test it. It just sort of, whether I'd read, there was no specific, but I must have read something, or something triggered in my head. Oh, you've got to get yourself tested. And I want us to win a race tomorrow. I want results now. That's what we're like, isn't it? We're in motorsport, I want results. And I phoned up private medical. I won't advertise them. They don't pay me any money, so I'm not going to advertise them. I phoned up a private medical group at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, and I had a finger on my bum at 9 because I paid. And because of the result of that, I had a blood test by 9:30. Didn't have the result, but I'd had blood taken out of my arm by 9:30. And that entire cost there was 170 quid for those 2 tests, which we're in a motorcycle paddock now. That's about half a back tyre.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
So not a lot of money. I'd rather have £170 more in my pocket than I have now. No matter how much money I've got, I'd rather have but it's half a back tyre. It's not a lot of money. That then came back, because I was going private, I got a result from that blood test, this PSA test, that gave me elevated levels of blah, 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 blah. But the problem with the PSA test is these are things I've been finding out now since. Because now, as soon as I got that, I'm on it.
Yeah.
I've got to know what the fucking hell was wrong with me. It's only 80% accurate. That's a bad test, isn't it? By anybody's, right? But because of that, you've got then they go. So then they then start narrowing down. You have to have more. So then you go for a biopsy. Now, I'll be graphic if you want me to. I don't care anymore. There are several ways they can do a biopsy, but bear in mind that this prostate and where it is in your body, they can either go follow the finger in and go and get from there. Weirdly enough, that has the potential to be a contaminated test. I wonder why.
Yeah. No shit.
Quite the opposite, Mr. Herberton. So the other option, and these are the nice ones. And I always say this wrong. Perineum. You know that bit of your body between your arse and your balls?
The gooch.
The gooch.
Okay. I'm not sure it's called a gooch test for the purpose of chasing the racing.
Person in the world listening to this
Just went the gooch. That's the name, and that is the name of the pod.
It is now officially going to be known as you can have a biopsy by pushing a really long needle through your gooch to reach your prostate. So, as I said, and I said on the post that we put out, is that once you've got some form of positive, and it's a feel thing, because a doctor knows how it's meant to feel. This is why I said don't get your friend to do it, unless they do happen to be a medical professional. And when you get a doctor go, ooh, there's an issue.
There's something. Right?
And I'm sorry, if it hurts a little bit after that, or it's a little bit uncomfortable, or you go, I've got to go and be very careful how I wash there later, and I don't want to get an infection in, I need to put a little bit of antiseptic in that. It's only a fucking needle, but, we don't want an infection, do we? Especially there. Jesus.
Yeah.
Then tough. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable.
It's a very small price to pay by the sounds of it. Like, it's not to get the test done. It's not.
No.
No, but you see, the thing is, the test will tell 7 out of 8 men you're fine.
Yeah. But
that's all you need.
Yeah.
Because if you've got cancer or another potential issue with your prostate will swell or it puckers or whatever it is they're feeling for. I ain't a fucking dog. But they'll know.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And if they go, you're fine, you're fine. If you're not fine, sorry, it might get a little bit uncomfortable. But if you can't take that little bit of uncomfort now, after you know it's not fine.
Yeah.
It's not a random thing after that. They found something wrong. Now we want to know what it is. Right? If you can't take that bit of uncomfort, you're going to die.
That's the reality of it, yeah.
Up to you. Right? Dom, have you ever crashed your motorcycle? I seem to remember leaning against your van in the TT paddock earlier this year, and you were still up there taking photos for nice people, and you had a broken pelvis.
No, last year.
Would that be right? You also had a broken scaphoid, didn't you, at the same time?
Yeah.
I also seem to remember you putting a chainsaw through your fucking head and your eye coming out and you fracturing your skull. Are you riding motorcycles tomorrow?
You're damn right.
Right, so if this test is a little bit uncomfortable and you don't want to do it, crack on. Die.
Yeah.
Okay?
But please don't. at the same time.
Exactly. So take a little bit of comfort, because anybody listening to this, if you came off your bike, if the spanner slipped off a fucking nut and you banged your hand into the floor, you'd still tighten the nut up.
Yeah.
Even though it's just hurt you. It's not that painful.
On the
Take whatever you got to do at that point. You got a problem.
no, carry on.
No, I'm just thinking it's a shame. It's like moving forward, breaking down that egotistical, like the man element. I'm not doing that.
I'm so manly.
And then there's also
It's a fear thing, is it?
There is a fear thing, but also it's the element I don't have
what women
time.
go through? Oh my God. 10 seconds, mate. They'll know in 10 seconds if you're a problem. You go in.
No, but I'm talking about the paddock now. This we're talking about.
This is what I was getting to. Right, sorry, we started on that. I know where you were going. So we've spoken. I've spoken to Simon. I've spoken to there's a lady that works for me, KJ, who's had dealings with Movember before in the past when she used to work for MotoGP. Told you I only bring the best people in. I've spoken to Holly about this. Holly's had dealings in the past with Prostate Cancer Trust. I haven't contacted these as yet. KJ has already contacted Movember for me. She's got a meeting with them next week. I'm contacting Prostate Cancer Trust next week. That's the little man symbol. We've made up a little man on there, blah, blah, blah. We're going to work out what we can do. I know that the Cancer Trust one, the Prostate Cancer Trust one, will do talks and things like that to explain to people what it is. If any of those listen to me now, I'm going to be in touch with you next week. But you can happily get in touch with me through blah, 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 whatever it is that we do to get in touch with people. But my hospitality suite is available for them to do talks to anybody and all and sundry in the paddock. And then my next thing is that if I can get them, women have mobile clinics go around doing mammograms. I'm more than happy to bring a doctor in and go, there's a finger over there. Go and have a finger up your bum.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. Talk is cheap. Action
Give us
is
a
required.
fucking chance, mate. I've had cancer for 3 days. Give me a fucking break.
I'm talking about how you're talking there. It's like fair enough having talks, fair enough having this. But
if I can do it, I will do it. You know what I'm like.
No, but that's what I mean. If you brought in a clinic and said, right, there you go, and you marched up riders. I'm not being funny, went up there and you just showed everyone in the paddock going, up you go. And what I was referring to, the time element, people are spending their time coming racing, getting a finger up your arse. It's going to be 5 minutes. And the best thing is it can be totally quiet. It can be totally subtle. You don't have to actually go in a legal dynamic of going, right, we think this. Go in there, fill the form in, there you go, say nothing, leave. So you're not having people walking around asking for lap times and asking how big your prostate is. You know what I mean? Don't turn it. No. I'm being serious. People will go, oh, what do you know? If it was literally sealed, silent, there you go. And you will get a message. And then that becomes a very private situation.
Yeah.
You're already on the ball with that. You've already answered the question that you're willing to get someone in. And I think talk is cheap.
I think it's a fantastic idea, yeah.
No, I think, and you're already on the ball on that. Talk is cheap, having talk shows and everything like that. But if you've got a physical element there going, tell you what, let's see how much of a bloke you are. Get your arse in there, son.
Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? And I tell you what, I'm marching there.
You know what? There's a couple of riders that bounce around the 40 mark anyway. I'm not going to name who you are, but there are a couple of riders bounce around the 40 mark. And they're about to, they need to get tested at 40 anyway.
But the mad thing is, it's breaking down that dynamic. The age thing's got nothing to do with it. There'll be a handful of 40, right? It doesn't matter if you're 25 to do it. Show people that it's actually all right to actually stop being trying to be egotistical about the man element. Get your ass up there. And
I'm not 40, but I've already said to you.
It's easy for somebody to put the finger up my arse, please. You see what he's angry for now, can you?
First thing Monday morning, genuinely, and I've told you this, first thing I'll do Monday morning is ringing the doctors.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But then you're talking about it takes till September, takes that the urgency wears off. People listen to this in the paddock. But if that is sitting there,
give me a little bit of time. If I can get a clinic in, I will. I'm trying.
I'm not sitting here to do that. You're going to do that regardless. I know that, but I'm trying to get this message across to people, going, this is going to happen. So you're putting it into action through your terrible, shitty news, but you're not sitting on your house doing nothing about it. You're actually going, these are the actions, and people listen to this going, well, we're like sheep naturally by human nature. One goes, the others will follow, and that's how
we've got to do it.
And you're thinking, I'm not being funny. If you've got a handful of riders, your riders, Jack, Brideway, all of them, Superbike lads, and everyone going, you know what, they've done it. Get a sticker, have a giggle about, you know what I mean? Go, I've been tested. Yeah. And arguably, it doesn't matter what age you are. You know what I mean? 20 up. Tell you what, just go and get checked.
On the subject of that, I'm going to be a bit shameless here. I've signed up to do this 1,000-mile cycle to raise money for prostate cancer. So
cycling's quite bad for your prostate.
Ironically, I know it is. Yeah.
I know. Oh, can I just right before you have a finger up your bum, right? You cannot have had that really nice thing that happens in that area for 48 hours.
Right.
Okay. So don't go enjoying yourself too much within the 48 hours. Okay, because your prostate is what produces most of your seminal fluid. So most of what comes out of your cock when you're enjoying yourself has come from the prostate. So if you've shrunk the prostate anyway. So it's given a false reading for the doctor.
I tell you what,
right?
Also the lap times will be banging. Load of lads wound up for the test road. Imagine every lap round going to get broken that weekend.
They don't want you to have had too much. What did they term it as? Vigorous exercise, not too much vigorous exercise, and have not been riding a bicycle for the last sort of 12 or 24 hours, because that can give a false reading.
There's lots of so the thing that I'm doing is for the Prostate UK charity thing.
Good man.
They promoted it I seen it on Instagram. I've just been gotten into cycling. They promoted it on Instagram, got a family member that's had it, and I was like, I'll do that. They only let you sign up for 300 mile, but I've said to all the people that have donated, we're going to do 1,000 miles. You've got all of August to do it. And the target was to try and raise 1,000 quid. So I'll ask Grace if she doesn't mind putting the link in if anyone wants to donate to do. And you can track all the miles on there and stuff as well. But on the subject of that, they did actually give us a bit of education around the dangers of cycling with like inadequate equipment and stuff, how it can affect your prostate. And lots of people have been like initially misdiagnosed for stuff like that because they've got a swollen prostate from cycling, but it's turned out to be nothing.
Yeah. But that's why, like I say, so they feel first we may have a problem. They do a blood test that gives us the indicators for cancer, and then they do a biopsy to confirm.
Yeah.
That's why you have to go through those stages, because as I say, if you cycle a lot, you can have a large prostate anyway.
Yeah. I don't know where I think just
it's a bit of a difficult one, but it's thanks very much for turning honestly, such a negative thing into positive. And
no, thank you so much. Like obviously it's still very very early days. It's like Friday. God love you. 3 days ago, Friday, you knew the team, yourself knew, and we're always here to keep this message going, Alan. You know what I mean? Just keep getting yourself down here talking.
We're going to try and do some more in the paddock to get
fantastic
as much as we can.
No, good man, and well, thank you so much for your time, and just please get in touch. Please follow the OMG Race Team's Facebook pages, the Twitters, everything to keep up to date with everything and show the links. Obviously, get in touch with Josh, as far as the cancer research on that element, and that's that. Thank you so much. That's all I can say.
Thanks for having me and eating all the cakes.
Yeah,
thanks for the cakes. I need a cup of tea now.
Is that you?
I had 2.
I think we're gonna
have
that.
Fucking, I think I bought.
We're definitely gonna have to do a weekly update. We'll all be fat as hell.
I must have bought either 15 or 18 cakes, and there are 3 left. I've had 2. So. Oh, you had 2 a minute ago. No, it's fucking 3.
I've had a couple.
2 brownies.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Right. Well, on that cake note, on that bombshell, in the great words of Clarkson, bud. Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
And we'll catch up with you soon. See you in a bit.
Chasin the Racin, powered by Colchester Kawasaki, part of the Global Moto Group. We supply new Aprilia, Moto Guzzi, Vespa, Royal Enfield, Kawasaki, Sim, Mutt and Benelli motorcycles.